Oh, hello, hello. Here we are. Once again, the moon smiles down upon us all because we are in Notte Eterna. I'm Kevin. I am your Dungeon Master for this evening. I am the U.S. Ambassador for the brand of Notte Eterna here in the U.S., as well as the Dungeon Master typically here on the channel. So I'm glad to be returning into the Blood Domain, a very special area to all the fine, beautiful people you see sitting here around me, because they were all in the previous game, Blood Domain. If you haven't seen Blood Domain already, there'll be some minor spoilers during this game, but you know what? It's always okay to go back and watch because those moments are beautiful. You can see them on demand on our YouTube channel, and it will also be coming back onto the main Twitch channel here with some special little stuff we're going to be doing at the end of the year, but more on that later. So if this is your first time tuning in, hey, cool, thanks for showing up. We're glad to have new friends. If you're returning and you've been here before, welcome back. Thank you for journeying into the dark night with us. I want to take a moment before we get started to say that, you know, this is a game that is grim, dark fantasy setting. Notte Eterna is a setting that is for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, but where it differs is this is a world of eternal night. These heroes have to vanquish foes as well as demons that reside within themselves sometimes. Not literally, I mean, figuratively is more appropriate, but they do this together, and they do this in a world that is ever-changing by the stories we tell. So, I would like to introduce the players who are returning as their same characters from the previous arc of Blood Domain. Let's start right here on my left, my right. I always get it confused. I'm looking at the screen. It's my right, your left, whatever. Adrian, hello, welcome back.
Good evening. It's so good to be back. My name is Adrian. I go online using the tag Sly Sparrow on all the socials, and tonight I will be returning to the role of Sir Caden Elios, Wandering Knight. His friends call him Cade. He's a wandering knight through the darkness, finding his friends, wandering with his friends, and trying to be the best person he can be, trying to be a light in this eternal darkness that is this world, with his trusty horse, his faithful companion, Luna, and seeing what kind of mischief and what kind of mischief he gets himself into. He is looking forward to tying up some loose ends and seeing where this story concludes or how it continues. Very excited to be back. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Couldn't do this without you, my friend. It's great to have you back, and I can't wait to see what else Kate is going to bring to the table. And we'll move on over to my other side. Beth, hi, welcome back. I almost called you. I still said welcome, Beth. Did you hear it? Did you hear it?
Welcome,
almost got away with it.
It just seemed like you lagged for a second.
Hi.
If you hadn't said anything, everybody would have just assumed you had lagged.
There we
Internet.
go. Well, you know what? I'm honest to a T. Hi, Beth. Welcome back.
Hi. Thank you. Very glad to be here. I'm very excited to dip back into these characters again because it was a lot of fun in the first arc. Tonight, I will be continuing my role as Isra, who is a Karevi warlock with a dash of rogue. And I'm excited to see now that some confessions have been made and there's a bit of, weight off of her shoulders. Maybe she'll just be a happy little camper or not. Hard to say. We'll find out.
Happy little camper. I'm not sure if that goes too well with Isra's aesthetic, but I like it. I like
Entire vibe.
Yes, we can all be hopeful.
Yeah.
Thanks, Beth. This is always great. This is one of many times you've been on the channel, so thank you for coming back and diving back in for this. Let's dive on back to the bottom row. Holding it all up by his own, holding us all on his shoulders, is Miko, producer for the channel currently, and also returning as his amazing character, Kalim. So, Miko, tell us a little bit. What's your deal? What's going on?
Hi, everyone. I don't think I have a deal.
That was the wrong way to phrase that.
No, it's okay. So, I am Miko, otherwise known as the OKSGM, and I am playing Kalim, a wonderful, not happy, but probably the happiest he's ever going to be Cleric of Darkness, which is very appropriate to this setting, being a master of all things dark who had, I will say, one of my more memorable moments as a player the last time that we played this game, and he got to perform some interesting, or use some of his more interesting abilities in our final fight. Please, everyone, if you have not gone back and watched all of that, check out the YouTube channel, watch the Blood Domain, because it was a whole lot of fun, and we had some really awesome RP from all of these amazing people, and some very, very cool characters here. So I'm looking forward to continuing to tell this tale that we are all about to proceed with.
Absolutely, yes. It was a great arc. We all had a blast playing it. These characters were very juicy, very three-dimensional, and that's why we just had to bring them back. We couldn't stay away for too long. There is a fourth player in the mix, but as you can see, she is now currently with these three, so she will come in at a dramatically appropriate time when that happens. So, without any further ado, thank you again, everybody. Please sit back, enjoy. We're watching you on chat. Hi there. So let's dive in, shall we? All right. So, the Blood Domain, a realm ruled over by the Hishlaki, the high vampires, who have enslaved humanity and the lesser races, as they would refer to them, in that area ever since the sun disappeared 161 years ago. During the time since the fall of Laun, the god of the sun, the Hishlaki have come out of their dark, creeping hiding places and decided to rule over this area and establish themselves a hierarchy of power, sown distrust, and a certain level of treachery. All of this was to a specific purpose, we will soon discover, a purpose that has already been hinted upon by the activity of a woman who is no longer with us, a woman who was slain when her daughter returned to her. But that's a tale for another time. Specifically tonight, we will find ourselves retreating back into the Blood Domain, where we will see champions come back out of the darkness and try to undo the Blood Rites that are about to transpire. Specifically, our tale this evening begins just outside of the Blood Domain, in the area around it, the free area that is not controlled by the Hishlaki. This area here will find a foggy night that slowly starts to part as our attention gets brought down into a relatively sleepy-looking village. It's regular size, and there is a town square that we see in the area. There are several people who are townsfolk who are on the last stages of undoing a stage that was erected at the center of town, just next to an old withered tree. This area was once an area where they would offer up a monthly tribute to the Hishlaki, but that is no longer necessary, for that has been undone. In this town, this sleepy little town, there have been heroes who have returned with a prisoner, reuniting her with her father, and as the party begins to continue to commence, we will draw in upon these three heroes as they sit and ponder and reminisce about what exactly they concluded just a few hours ago. The first of these heroes we will find is a man who stands out in any crowd. He is a tall, dark-haired man who has a very bright, jovial smile upon his face. But I'll let Adrian describe Cade for us, if he would not mind.
Cade will most likely be leaning up against the wall with a small flagon of some drink given to him by his good friend Gregor. Dashingly handsome man with long dark hair, and he's got really kind of dark red like clothes with armor. He looks very rugged. This is a man who travels immensely. His boots are surprisingly immaculate. He's got a great sword, hand crossbow on his many leather belts. he's probably like in his mid-30s. He's always got a kind of a sly grin on his face, and he's usually always kind of half in the lights, artificial lights from candles or torches, and half in the dark. But he always does kind of have a reassuring grin to him. Always seems to know where the next move is going to be as he continues to sip on his small flagon. And though normally he always has that kind of reassurance to himself, he does seem a little perturbed. Even though they have returned as heroes, they still aren't whole. There was a great price to pay, and so that does kind of have an aura around his well-being as he kind of slumps down on the wall, just kind of listening to everyone around and trying to kind of keep himself up. He hasn't really slept, so he's just trying to keep his composure, keeping an eye on his companions.
Absolutely. Cade is a figure that is, as you said, typically jovial, but he does have a little bit of a heaviness upon him because they did lose a companion when they left the Blood Domain, and the thought about what might have happened to her does weigh upon him. But there is a little bit of a gloom that does hang, but there is a voice that cuts through that. It's a man from the town. Please, Mr. Cade, could you tell us about what exactly happened there? We want to know exactly what you did. We heard about the great fire that was pulled down from the sky by your hand. We heard it destroyed all the vampires, blew them up. The Hizlaki couldn't stand against your power. Such a knight as you. Tell us the story again, please.
It is not in the code to gloat with such honor, but I am not a trained bard. I would bring this up to my companion who actually witnessed everything, including being saved by an entire horde of vampires. Go ahead and tell him, David.
We look over, was kind of semi behind Cade's greatness, is a middle-aged man. He is wearing a hat. He has a very nice suit, despite the fact that he looks like he is more of a working class individual. He has a little bit of a start, as he's called. Yes, I was there, and I did see that there was a lot that happened, and I'm not exactly a trained bard either. But and as he's trying to get all of this out, there is a figure who kind of, not meaning to, not in a harsh way, but kind of just pushes him out of the way a little bit. This figure steps forward. He is a tall man, wide-shouldered. He was probably, looks like he could have once been an adventurer. But this half-orc man comes forward and, yes, my friends are very powerful. You would not be entirely surprised to learn that they are trained monster hunters, and they have come here to destroy and defeat the Hizlaki once and for all. This man, Gregor, is a friend of theirs. He gestures towards his oldest companion out of the adventuring heroes here, Isra. And as he points to her, she looks up from the table where she was, caught in her own thoughts about what exactly transpired. In a specific moment, Isra, as you look up, there is a voice that you hear. Typically, with your background as a spiritualist, you do hear the voices of the spirits that roam through the land, and sometimes they say things that may not be entirely warm. But in this moment, you almost heard a different voice, a slight singing voice, the voice of Flora, as she seemed to be calling from a distance. And as you are mentioned by Gregor, you get pulled out of your slight stupor. If you could, Beth, tell us a little bit about Isra and what exactly she is doing at this moment.
Yes. So looking at Isra, you see a young woman with dark hair and pale skin, paler than most folks here in this dark realm. She wears dark clothing, shades of green and black. If you've encountered her before, she does look like she's feeling a bit lighter than she did going into the Blood Domain. And on her shoulder sits a little black pseudo-dragon with giant gecko eyes that sort of glow an amber color. That's Sugar, her baby. And she is, I think, just taking a moment with her companions to breathe after what happened. Hearing Flora, however, I think both excites her because it's so good to hear from a friend, but also it's a reminder that they're not done and they do need to get back to her sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. So as you look up Isra, you see that Gregor is pointing to you. You didn't actually fully hear what all he said, but I mean, you overheard enough to know that he's motioning that you were part of this troop as well, and that you might be someone who could dive in with the story and tell a little bit more about what happened.
Oh, I mean, I suppose I could tell everyone what's been going on, but let's see. There were vampires, lots of them, and yes, just like that, Cade. And they were not very nice, and we explored here and there. We got to sort of fight a big creature and more vampires, and then another big creature. And that's pretty much the whole thing.
So as you tell these details, even though they are very vague, they're not very specific at all. The people in the crowd, oh, a bitch-ass creature! Can you believe that she said? You know, the crowd is very animated. The crowd of people here, are all pretty much middle-aged people, adults mainly. Not a lot of young women in this town due to the past few months, but there are a few young women who will become young ladies. Young girls who become young ladies, that's what I'm trying to say, soon enough. There is one young lady in the room who actually is standing off to the side as well. She's kind of lost in the crowd, despite the fact that she was just recently a impetus for the journey that brought you all into this area, into the Blood Domain. And that is Natalia, Gregor's daughter. The young half-orc girl is standing there. She is very pretty. She has long dark hair. And as she stands there looking, she has eyes that specifically are cutting through the room and looking at the third member of our troop who is here, a tall figure who is even more pale than the pale Ishra, if we can believe that is possible, and that is Kalim. And as Natalia looks at Kalim, it's almost as if she's trying to figure out something about his countenance. Miko, if you could tell us about that strange stark countenance that is, if you could, Kalim.
Sure. So in this moment, I think Kalim has been more or less blocking out almost everything around him, not wanting to dwell too much on the festive portion, the success that we had and the happiness that everyone else has, because for him this is a sorrowful time. The fact that we had to leave Flora behind and that he was not able to protect her the way that he said he would is almost like a heavy curse upon Kalim's countenance. And I mean, his perceptive abilities are insanely capable, despite being a sort of undead reborn man. So it's quite a challenge to, not hear what's going on around him and not see everything that's going on around him. And at the moment, he is more focused on sitting beside a window near to the front, just staring heavily into the night.
Absolutely. The night is still dark, as it always is in this land where there is no sun to grace it, but it seems even darker amongst the three of you. And you do cut a different kind of path out of the rest of the party where everybody is celebrating the fact that this curse is over. You can actually see that there are several people that are going through the room and are beginning to take down the red banners that are stapled up all over the different sections of the corners of the room. Once a ward to keep away the Hishlaki. They are doing so, and they're doing this in a way that you can tell this is not very practiced. These people are definitely changed by what has happened. And as this all is transpiring, Gregor goes over and he puts an arm around his daughter. He pulls Natalia close, and she kind of starts and moves away from looking at Kalim over by the window and gives him a faint smile. And as he steps off, he sits down next to Isra at the table, and so does Natalia. There is food that is brought for everybody is sitting here, so you all can refresh yourselves. And everybody just continues to flock around Cade. They want to hear more of his story. There are just lots of jubilation that's building up in the room, despite the three of you doing your darndest to not be part of it. The only thing that really cuts through the nature of the group is the fact that their young women are no longer returned. They were a price that could not be claimed back from your journey into the blood domain itself. But these things are part of the journey here in the Eternal Night, it would seem. What is everybody's passive perception?
24.
Sweet. I forgot about that.
That's why I said it's hard. It's really hard for him to block out the jubilation, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think we need anybody else.
In that case.
I had what I thought was a respectable 16, but
I know I only have 17. I guess.
What is wrong with the two of you?
I mean, I'll take a -5 penalty for trying to block stuff out.
Sure. There we go.
Oh, to bring you down to our level, I see. Yeah. Okay.
It's still a 19.
In the midst of all this, as the food is being brought, Gregor, he goes and he rips off a leg off of a hog that's been roasted. He pulls off the leg. He starts, eating at it. He offers something to Natalia. He goes, "Oh no, I'm still so worked up over everything that has happened. No, thank you, Father." And she just kind of is keeping to herself, just sitting there, kind of closed in upon herself. And Kalim, you notice that in amongst the food on the table seems to be a small rolled up piece of parchment with a wax seal on it.
That I'm assuming I notice it because it seems out of place to the food.
It does. It seems very out of place here. The paper, you can tell even from the distance across the room, looks like it's a very high quality. This isn't your typical parchment you'd see in this area, which would be very, it would still be nice paper, but this is very nice, very fine, very clean looking, very white and crisp.
Okay. I will... Yeah, I think Kalim in this moment will actually approach the table, shocking anyone that knows him at the notion that he is going to eat.
Sure.
Because he doesn't eat or sleep. And like right as he's reaching down, everybody's watching to see what food he's actually going for. He just snatches up the parchment and steps away from the table.
Mm-hmm. As you snatch it up, as I mentioned, it is very fine paper. Like I said, it's very crisp. And as you pick it up, it actually has a little bit of a scent to it, something very floral, something very, very enticing. It doesn't even smell like the very small village that you guys are in. The seal upon it is of a red wax, and you can see that the seal itself looks almost like a N superimposed over some sort of pentagonal shape. Nothing you specifically recognize.
What is Isra doing in this moment?
I think right now, she is trying to, at least, with a little subtlety, just stare at Natalia. She feels really concerned, since Natalia's not eating food, and I think she's got some worry.
And Cade is standing there trying to be as jovial as he can I'm assuming in an effort to mask his own inner turmoil and just trying to keep the people happy, that sort of.
Right. Yeah, you would see him he goes, and then there was this elven hunter who was almost as good as me. Her name was, and then he kind of pauses for a moment when he realizes
David
her name.
says, I believe her name was Regia, sir.
Yes, Regia. And then he has a very long, uncomfortable pause when he hears her name, and then snaps back to it, just trying to very lowly continue the story.
Okay.
Well, was she beautiful? Some man asks, and Kalim tunes that back out. He's just kind of whatever. As Kate begins to answer.
in that case, Kalim will break the seal upon the parchment and unroll it to read the message.
Okay. When you unroll it, you see that there is a small little message here. It's just a few sentences, but the hand that it's written in is very tight, very concise, but it also has a very fluid, lovely pattern to it. Looks like somebody who would be used to writing missives and letters. And what it specifically says is, the defeat of the vampire youth will not be enough to stop what has happened. Your friend that you left behind was not enough. This is merely the beginning. What you seek is in the wood between the town of Tarash and the obelisk of the vanquished.
Is it signed?
It is not.
Is it written in blood?
I would
Lick the
say
paper, find out.
Yeah, right. I would say, because your perception skills are just so great.
I also have a 23 passive investigation, if that helps.
I love that. I love that even more about it. I love that. You can inherently just know. Maybe it's part of the fact that you once died and have been brought back into the world of the living, so you kind of understand these strange, macabre things, or maybe it's just a matter of you can just tell. But it definitely seems to be written in blood.
Okay. I will approach Isra.
Okay.
Quietly.
Mm-hmm.
And then, within arm's reach, just place a hand upon her shoulder.
Oh. Hello. What's going on?
There is a message. And he just tilts the parchment towards her.
She'll take it and start reading over it, her eyes flitting really fast across the words on the page. Seriously?
I wonder if these people realize that, whilst they might think that they are not done with us, that we knew for certain that we were not done with them.
It's very true. Do we trust that following their instructions will actually lead to what we want? Or is this a trap?
Oh, it is most certainly a trap. Do I
But
care?
do they know that we know that it's a trap?
I do not care of such things. I will be happy to crush their trap and flay any of them that think that they can stop me from my goals.
That is sort of exactly what I expected you to say. Well, I feel like I don't want to spend any more time here if we don't need to.
We shall give the people what they need. They need this celebration.
Sure.
And
that's true.
You and Kate probably need some rest.
Probably, yes. I've kind of been able to hear Flora most of the time, here and there, but I feel her now, and it just kind of makes me antsy.
What do you mean?
You know, she's very musical, and sometimes I hear her music. Just little bits of it. Nothing, you know, it's not like a full concert. But I just hear her like it's on the wind, or just a tune in my head that I just sort of doesn't leave. So you can understand I don't want to just leave her not knowing what could be happening. I know she's very strong and capable, but she's also just a girl.
Yes. Well, you should know how proud I am of you, daughter.
I do. And I think, well, I've always been very proud of you, but I feel like you had to make a very difficult decision back there. And I know that weighs on you.
Yes.
But I think it was what needed to be done, and we're not finished. Not at all.
We are not, and I know this, and thank you for being as strong as you are. I will need
learned
it.
from you.
No. You learned from... He can't even say her name.
Yeah.
Your mother.
Yeah.
And there I was, on top of the tower, 10 stories high. Vampires running behind us. Vampires in front of us. I threw my trusty shield. Whoa! It decapitated one of the vampires that came back into my hand. I grabbed hold of Natalia, looked into her eyes. She was mesmerized by my heroic gaze. And then I grabbed her arm and jumped off the tower into certain death. The darkness surrounding me. Holding on to dear life, Natalia grips me close till I pull out this magic rod. And as before we hit the ground, before we slayed the beast, I activated it and saved us from certain death. Able to land safely, we looked up to see an even more giant monster, another menace, its dark shadow hanging over us. Then suddenly, continue having another drink.
The crowd just enraptured. Everybody who was here was just leaning in. David's just solemnly nodding behind you, just confirming everything that you're saying. There's a couple of times where they look over when you mention Natalia, they look over, but she's just sitting, staring at the table. Gregor is like really super amped up and just, that is right, that is my friend. Yes, that happened. Yes.
So yeah, he's just basically going to get rid of his sorrow by just like really over amplifying what happened and make it seem a lot more cartoonish than it actually was.
Absolutely, yes. The story is very embellished, and although there is a great thread of truth in all the things that you're telling, they are so exuberant, so over the top that it can only be exaggerated what you're saying, and there's no way that it could possibly have been happened, except some of it did happen the way that you're telling it. So that's what's amazing about being a hero. As the story just continues, you notice that your friends are just kind of just not involved, but maybe part of you doesn't really necessarily care about that. But more hours continue to pass. Is there anything specifically any of you want to do during the revelries? Anything you want to do that's besides just anything having to do with that? Is there anything you all want to discuss further, or maybe even go do, or is there anything at hand that we should be thinking about?
I will have told Isra to wait for a moment where Cade takes a breath and, you know, show him the parchment. And at some point in the evening, Kalim will want to go for a walk in the dark night. Just some time to himself to contemplate things.
Absolutely. I think that perhaps when you first go to step off to do that, maybe Isra will make a move to go with, but then from your returned look, she understands that you need to go do your thing on your own, and you do slip off. Cade's story continues. It actually has to get told 2 or 3 more times. It gets, I assume, embellished even more every time it gets told. The people love it, and more details start to get involved. Eventually, Natalia, thank you again, Sir Cade. I really appreciate what you did to save me, as I said before. So thank you. And she will just very tenderly give you a kiss on the one cheek, and then she will, you know, just slink off to the side to go rest. She's had quite an ordeal as well. You know, it's not every day that you are captured by vampires, taken to their stronghold, and are about to be sacrificed to a strange darkness monster before heroes come and save you. So, you know, these things happen. But she goes to rest for the night, and Gregor actually, he said, yes, this is my friend, yes, all the drinks are on me, you know, and he goes, and he makes his way off as well to go rest for the night as well. And the revelries continue as much as they need to. But Isra, you continue to hear just very distantly, it almost sounds like a humming or a singing, almost as if you expect to turn and see Flora sitting across the room or just outside of you. And maybe you even catch yourself doing that from time to time as this goes on. But she's not there. You, of course, know that she is elsewhere.
I think that Isra will be, I guess, sort of distracting herself with Sugar, her sweet little baby, but all the while thinking about Pandemonium and Flora and trying to like allow herself to get to the point where she can actually rest so that they can move on, but there's like an impatience sort of just thrumming through her that makes it a little bit difficult.
Absolutely.
I do think at some point Isra would stop and try to, I guess as things are settling down a bit, whenever that ends up happening, she'd go up to Gregor and just kind of, she went through a lot over there, and she needs a little space, but don't leave her for too long. I think maybe letting her be in some quiet might help. But also, I don't know. Sometimes having a quiet, strong presence near you is, it's all you need to feel safe. And make her drink water. That helps too.
Yes, of course. You know, I got to be honest with you. You will be a wonderful mother someday if that is the path you choose to take.
Whew. I already have a sweet baby. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
sweet
very,
as
very
sugar. I see what you have done.
Yes.
Oh, this is why I have been friends with you for so long, Isra. Oh, ever since that time that we journeyed. I mean, who would have thought that all of those years ago, the tables would be turned such as this? I
Never expected it.
Well, he looks over to the doorway that his daughter, newly returned to him, just disappeared through to go rest, and he stares for a moment. It is not right that you had to pay the price that you and your friends had to pay tonight. I did like that girl. She was a good girl. Her face, the way it was painted, the way she carried herself, she's beautiful. It is too bad that she was snatched away by the claws of the vampires.
Don't say was. She's still there, and we're going to get her.
Oh,
That's
yes, of course. I know that. I simply mean, it's just, I know. You know, the vampires, they are,
I did not expect them to be pleasant or anything, but they were just not fun.
They're not fun, but hey, this place is safe. And he puts a hand on your shoulder, like a brother would. Like he's just so indebted to you. This place is better now. I mean, look, they have removed the blood flags from the rooms. We are safe to go about our lives. We are safe to live now because you and your friends have done this. I am forever in your debt. You have returned my daughter to me. That is something I can never repay.
I'm just so happy for you, Gregor. We'll make sure that we get our friend back, and hopefully we won't have to think about the blood domain anymore.
Oh, if I never hear those terms again, it will be too soon. But I will tell you this. I owe you everything, and I will give you whatever you need. As long as I am alive on this world, I will give you whatever you need. Understand this. He slaps your shoulder a couple times, and as he begins to stand, you see him kind of sway for a minute. He's maybe a little bit into his cups at this point. He reassures you that he's okay, and then he steadies himself and he walks. A little bit of that limp that he had in his injured hip from before just kind of numbed a little bit. But he still takes a little bit of it in as he moves across the room, and he goes over to that same doorway. He opens it quietly. The party's kind of starting to die down at this point. Kalim's already left to go outside and everything. Cade's sitting off, telling the story maybe one last time to those last individuals who just really won't let it go. Himself one of them.
They're too drunk to even remember the details anyway, so.
That's true, yes, exactly. And Gregor stops at the door one more time. He turns back and he locks eyes with you, Isra, and you see his eyes have that glaze of a man who is on the verge of tears, but being strong in this last moment. He just gives you a nod. And he turns and goes in, slowly closes the door, leaving you alone to perhaps hear that humming on the night air.
Always.
So Kalim, I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I think Isra would just sort of end the night there, not, just knowing that Kalim needs time and space, and Cade is doing his best to keep up the energy. So I think she would gladly retreat.
Absolutely. Kalim,
Yes.
outside, the night is cold, but perhaps the cold doesn't necessarily bother a man such as yourself, who is reborn out of death. But as you walk along, because you are ever vigilant and ever untiring, what exactly is going through your mind? What exactly is that you're thinking of? You're a calculating man, once a tailor, used to restitching and fixing things. Perhaps you have a pattern laid out before you now that you're trying to determine the best way to configure into the next steps. What's going through your mind?
Well, the implications of the parchment seem to belie that the people that we upset with our actions are seeking retaliation against us, perhaps against this town for the prior events and all of that. But more so than that, I think he is trying to contemplate just how many of these vampires he's going to have to destroy before they understand that what he did helped them. Because he was responsible for killing the creature that had been hounding them for so long, that was literally causing them turmoil, not only in, you know, from their own safety, but also the way that they had to rule, like the logistics of everything that they had going on. Like, he's trying to figure out for himself something that he probably is not going to be capable of doing, and that he's probably going to be relying, this was kind of why he had the conversation earlier, he's probably going to be relying far too much on Isra to convince people that they need to open their eyes to what actually transpired. He is a very focused man, and he's very brutal in a lot of ways, coldly efficient, one might say. And so right now there's a lot of those thoughts going through his head, and just how far into the darkness he's going to have to pull power from to get done what needs to get done, which the epitome of which is to rescue Flora.
Absolutely.
And I think at the thought of Flora and Isra, and whenever he focuses on the two of them, there is a distinct softening of the edges, so to speak, for him.
Mm-hmm.
And it perhaps introduces a little bit of care into that cold efficiency that he has. Those are those kinds of racing thoughts are what goes through him as he takes this walk.
Absolutely. As you think about all this, and you think about the fact that you, and the name you could not say, your wife, didn't actually have children of your own. You did raise Isra in a certain capacity. You remember parts of that now after the events of your journey through the blood domain. As you walk along, you think about these events. You think about Flora, this young woman who actually had a hand in returning you into the world. It's a sound in the woods nearby, a rustling of leaves as if something very quickly moves through the woods that you hear inherently, because you hear everything, it would seem.
I also have a blade of warning.
Oh, okay.
My longsword.
Mm-hmm.
So is that going off as to imply danger?
No.
Okay.
It sounded bigger than, say, a stray animal, running through it, like this wasn't just some sort of night coon running around. This was something probably at least person-sized, just moved through the woods at a very quick pace. The speed in which it sounded like they rustled through the leaves would definitely indicate that it's not just a normal-sized person. Maybe a slightly bigger than normal-sized person.
Okay. I think he will do his best not to acknowledge that it happened. So I don't know if you want me to do a deception check or anything like that, but
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right.
That's an 18.
Okay. You keep calm, cool, collected. You continue to walk and move as if you did not notice that at all. There is another sound that you hear in the wood now, relatively the same area. This sounds different. This doesn't sound like movement. This almost sounds like the sound of something dropping, something hitting the leafy ground of the forest floor that is nearby. Specifically in this village that you're in, there is a perimeter around it that is like a short distance away from where the houses and whatnot are, where the wood starts, and it sounds like it's past that. So it's not like it's somebody coming towards you. This almost is like they're moving in a capacity that is like parallel to the way you're walking.
I will slowly start to diverge to where I will be, my goal being to approach the edges of the town.
Okay, absolutely. What specifically are you trying to accomplish with it? Are you trying to move
as
closer?
I reach, yes, as I reach the edges of the town, I'm not like turning 90 degrees and then heading straight to the edge. No, I'm just kind of walking in such a way as to reach the edge of the town, where my intention is to just stand and wait openly without concern.
Okay. You begin to move over in that direction, and as you begin to move over in that direction, Cade, coincidentally at the same time, you were in the tavern and you're telling this tale for probably the 15th time tonight. And you can see David is sitting across the way from you. David is very studious. He's very dutiful. He's very much concentrated, very focused. But in this moment, you see he's sitting, his arms are crossed. He's actually starting to nod off. Something that catches your eye, however, is that sword, that very strange rapier that you gave him, that you got from that vampire noble that you all killed to begin this quest. He had it sitting at his side, hanging on his side, because that's where you instructed him to put it. He's not a swordsman, so he didn't know how to wield it or anything. So right now he actually has it leaning up against the wall next to him, like you would put perhaps a cue or something. Just sitting there resting.
Okay.
Seemingly not even like a weapon. But what you notice is there is a faint red light around the part where the sword connects into the scabbard, up around that hilt, the basket hilt of it. There was a red light that's kind of slowly got a trickling to it.
It's funny that you mentioned that. It's very funny that you mentioned that, because that was just the part of the story I was about to retell. So
perfect.
So Cade will stand up and he will start walking around the table, getting closer to David. And as he's walking past all the people that are obviously watching him, he's still very animated about the story. And Cade gets closer and closer to David. He goes, and as I slowly walk,
as he slowly walked
to the vampire noble, splurting out blood as he's being slowly defeated, the lifelessness trying to pulsate through his meager veins. And now I'm standing right over David, because I stand over the noble, look down upon him, and as I take his sword, and I'm
David
taking the sword,
you and he's
taking the sword off the side of the wall, and he goes, and then I looked at him and I said, and turns over towards the table, cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. And then he will unsheathe the sword.
You grab the sword handle and as you unsheath it, there is a splatter of blood that flies through the air, and it splatters across the table, across one of the guys, across the one man's face, the one single man who's like completely not out of it. He's been stone cold sober this entire time, really looking and watching. It just kind of goes, and he kind of flinches from the impact of it. It splatters across the wall and up by the ceiling. It almost looks like some of those blood flags, as they were called, have been put back across the wall here, the way it's splattered. And as you finish the arc, you look down at the blade out of the corner of your eye, and you can see that the blade of it is now a bright, vibrant red, almost as if the blade itself is made out of hardened blood. The basket hilt of it is actually twitching and moving and starting to close in and grip onto your hand, almost as if it's starting to form onto your hand. David instantly throws his chair back and jumps up and looks. That sword. What is happening with that sword, Sir Cade? Everyone, please be calm. I'm sorry, I'm not being calm myself. This is a bit disconcerting to me. Everyone, please. What is happening?
Cade is very slowly. He's gonna put the sword back in the scabbard. Can you just like put it back? Like whoa, hey, evil sword.
Please make a wisdom saving throw, Cade.
Oh boy.
That's your best save, right? You're muted. Or we didn't pick it up.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
14.
14, okay. Plays back into the scabbard, and there was a definitive sound. Like at first, it sounds almost like that sound you make when you plunge a sword into a body, that sound. And then when it clicks in, as it clicks, the hilt, almost like a hand that was tightened across you, just kind of, and you can pull your hand free. As you pull your hand free, there is almost like that look when there is strings of like saliva in a beast's mouth. As you pull your hand away, there's blood that kind of stretches for a second and then snaps back off of your hand, and your hand is clean. There's nothing, no blood on you or anything like that. You look over to the wall, and the blood that's splattered across the wall is just slowly down the wall. That man who has the blood on his face, yeah, that was amazing, wow. And he starts rubbing at his face. He comes over, he starts clapping you on the shoulders. He thinks this is part of the story. He's just so complete and just amazed by what he just saw. Oh, that is so crazy. And your part, you acted so surprised, he says, grabbing David and shaking him. David's just like totally confused by what's going on.
I'm trying to hide my confusion and just make it look like, yeah, check out dramatics, add props. Like, yes, it was just like that. Rain of blood, yes, spraying, splurting everywhere. But it is time for you all to get some sleep. Us heroes, we need our rest after much journey. So please go, and this story shall a good man teach his son. So go and sleep.
And you turn over to where Isra's sitting. Isra, you saw all this, so.
And as everyone leaves, be like, David,
Yes.
wake up. Yes. Have you?
Oh, I'm quite awake now, Sir Cade.
Quick question: have you ever unsheathed this blade before?
I will be honest. I am not a swordsman. I am a driver, and I was very reluctant to use it. I carried it, and did make me feel safer, especially because I knew that you gave it to me. But no. Just in a short answer, no, I did not.
No. Well, guess it was good that you didn't, because we don't know if we'd be talking right now if you did. So good. Your instincts serve you well. You are alive because you did not listen to me. Good. Continue that.
Well, yes, sir.
I may be drunk. Forget that. Listen to me. But yes, do not touch the sword.
Oh, okay. I will definitely not touch the sword now, sir. Don't worry about that.
and Cade will take like one of the, like, I'm sure there's like some sort of handkerchief or cloth napkin.
Oh yeah, easily napkins or table runners. Yeah.
And he will attempt
maybe even a pile
to,
of those blood flags over in the corner.
Yeah. Use the blood flag. We need to rip that up a bit, and he will attempt to wrap it around like the hilt and attempt to open it again. Because why not? He's calf drunk. Come on.
Make a dexterity check for me, please. How drunk are you?
I mean, not, how many times has he told the story? I'm sure he had about 2 or 3 drinks every time he told it.
Oh, geez. Wow. Yeah. No, you're
Shit.
You should be dead.
yeah. Right.
23 on dexterity.
Okay, yeah. You take the blood flag, rip it all up, and you wrap it around the hilt and the handle. And at first you maybe test it like you would test a hot doorknob or something.
Yeah,
And eventually you can slip your hand in there. Nothing seems to happen. And when you draw the blade free...
I don't want to spray people, so I will just
Yeah. Okay. You slowly draw the blade, and as you slowly draw the blade, the steel of the blade is still red, but it doesn't look like blood now. It just looks like steel. Like it looks like a regular sword that has a red color to the blade.
I'll touch the blade. Steel?
Yeah. Nothing seems to happen. It's regular. Yeah, it's a regular sword.
Huh. I will remove the flag and touch it with my hand.
And as you remove the flag and you start to put your hand near it, you can already see the basket hilt starts to move a little bit. Do you actually grab it full on again?
No. When I see it, it does a little thing. Is there any drunk man that's asleep?
Oh yeah, there's a guy right next to you. He was actually sitting next to the guy. This guy almost got splattered by the blood when you drew it the first time, and he's just...
Okay, so as he's there, I'm gonna put the hilt close to his cheek. Just gonna hold it by the scabbard and just put it close to his cheek to see if it does anything.
You hold it by the scabbard, and as you slowly put the basket hilt towards his face, you see it. The closer it gets, it starts to reach towards his skin.
Interesting.
And you hold it just out of view, so you can actually see the wires of the basket. Actually, like fingers, are very slowly and very strained, trying to reach towards his face.
Literally, right next to it, wow. Look at it.
Yeah,
David, take a look.
David is behind you, just completely and totally awestruck by how horrifying this is. Isra, is there anything you're doing during all of this encounter?
I'm watching with some level of amusement because it's just inherently amusing. But I think after a while, in the thick of the storytelling, I think that Isra just kind of felt like, oh man, Cade is putting on a performance, and it's got to be drawing every ounce of energy from him. He's putting on a good show, but holy shit. And when the things start happening with the sword, I think her focus becomes pretty intense and is watching things happen, but out of curiosity I wouldn't stop you from smacking a sleeping man in the face.
I wouldn't say smack. We were just using him as a test
No,
subject.
we're saying have the awful monstrous sword eat a drunken man's face while he sleeps.
I just wanted to see if it would move.
Fine.
He's just a test variable. Gonna wrap it in. We're gonna wrap it in the flag. No one's gonna get hurt.
Oh, so now you're gonna wrap his face in a flag and smother him? Okay, what is with you and hating drunk people?
I'm wrapping the sword. Wrapping the sword in a flag. I just wanted to see if it moved.
Okay.
And the drunk.
The test you have not done yet is biting the tip of your finger and dripping a drop of blood onto it.
Oh yeah, just like Little Shop of Horrors.
Feed it like an Audrey too. Yeah, exactly.
That poor drunk guy got a promotion and was out to celebrate, and now he's gonna have his head blown off by a cursed sword.
We will just wrap the sword up, and I just wanted to see if it was gonna react to certain face meat versus hand meat. Now I know it doesn't care; it just wants meat, so we'll just wrap it up in the blood flag. It's very appropriate, and I will hold on to it. I will keep it. I will not give it back to David.
Okay.
Yes, please, Cade, for everyone's protection, wrap it.
Yes.
We will wrap it in the blood flag.
Ayo.
Words of wisdom, everybody. Words of wisdom. Speaking of Kalim, outside, you are nearing the edge of the wood, and as you near the edge of the wood, you hear one more sound. It sounds like a of somebody slowly stepping away, as if someone's trying to keep pace with you approaching them.
Okay. As I said, once I'm nearing to that edge, I will simply stop and stand in the darkness and wait. Bearing in mind also, Kalim has no semblance of care to any forms of light, right? He can see in all darkness, magical and otherwise. So
Yes.
without he doesn't try to stay, wherever there might be a street lamp or a light outside of someone's home or a resident or a place of business or anything like that. He just simply walks. So
Of course, yeah, definitely. When you stop, there was about 3 seconds, and then you hear somebody running through the woods away. You hear their footsteps get quieter and quieter and quieter as they're clearly sprinting through the woods to get away from where you're currently standing. Do you wish to do anything about this?
no.
And the footsteps eventually get far enough away to where you don't hear them any longer. You wait for an appropriate amount of time to just see if there's going to be any other sounds. With such a high perception, I'm not going to even make you roll. There is a long, stretched out silence. And then from behind you, you hear a drunken man, and then it was crazy. The blood came flying on my face. And then it goes, "You're drunk." And he's like, "So are you." And they walk past you. Well, not past you, because you're like on the edge of the town. They're walking closer to where the buildings are, but they walk past you in terms of where your position would be in correlation to the town. Oblivious to the fact that you're standing there.
Yes. I assume, just for story's sake, the path that I take to return to the tavern has me basically stepping around the corner in front of them as they're walking down the street, nearly bumping into him, and he just stares down at them.
Let's both give each other a look. Slow, like both walk around, both looking at you as they walk around you, and then kind of coming back together behind you. And then, so then his driver guy's got a nice hat, but that's what I'm showing.
Whoever that was that just spoke, as I'm walking away from them, I will telepathically tell him, "Get home safely."
Absolutely. And where are you making your way back to? Back to the tavern?
Back to Isra and the tavern, yes.
Okay. So right around the time that all of this bloody sword business is dealt with, Kalim, like a silent shadow in the night, just slips through the front door and is there.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Kate, you should get some rest this evening, my friend. We should set out tomorrow.
Where are we going?
We'll look at Isra.
Oh, going back?
Did you not show him the
yes.
parchment?
No, he never stopped talking. And she'll hand over the scroll. Look at this.
What?
I mean, I know we were going back as soon as possible, but now, I mean, come on.
Wait. They're saying we still owe them?
Right.
It's not even signed. How do you know this is legitimate?
Because it is written in blood.
This is a prank. This was written by the guys that were, they listened to the story once. They wanted to mess with us. They wrote a scroll.
Which of them do you think is the one that wrote it in blood?
He looks around to see that the room's covered in blood. There's blood everywhere.
This
blood was not here when I left.
That's very true.
Kalim looks at Isra. How did this happen?
I had no part of it. You should ask
part of the story.
Sir Cade.
Just some theatrics.
The sword that we got from that vampire noble, the one who was taking the young women, when Sir Cade drew it forth from the scabbard, it
You know, David, you talk a lot better when my story's done than you do right now. I mean, like, you're really clear right now.
Sorry, Sir
Yeah.
Cade.
Right.
He takes off his hat and just kind of steps back. His hair parted in the middle. He just kind of steps back and.
No, it was the vampire sword, the noble. This is the first time we unsheathed it, and blood kind of shot everywhere. Tried to attach itself to my hand. Tried to eat it. Tried to eat poor man's face. I had to save him, but alas, here we are. I've wrapped it in the flag. It may be.
Was this letter then more of your theatrics?
No, this is the first time I've seen this. Did it have a seal? What kind of seal?
Yes, it had a seal.
I don't know an N. Do you know an N? Isra? N? A stands for no one. Nobody.
It is not no one if the letter is even remotely true that they mean to cause harm to this place.
Where did you find this?
It was in the middle of the table, delivered.
So someone just tossed it on the table?
Cade, you are drunk. Trust me in this moment. Okay.
All right. So we're heading
Go
home.
and rest, my friend.
Yes. Rest is good. Rest is good.
And
Tomorrow we have a journey.
And for the love of all darkness, please drink some water.
Will do. But I think this corner seems nice. You'll just
You have a bed upstairs, you idiot.
You guys do have rooms, yeah.
oh, yes, of course.
Do you need help? Should I carry you to your bed?
No. No need to carry me. I can make it there myself. And he will wander his way back to his room.
I will telepathically tell David, please follow him and make sure he makes it to his bed, okay?
David doesn't respond. He just looks at you, Kalim, and then he will follow behind Cade in an appropriate distance that will let Cade know that he's handling this himself, but that David is actually looking over it. You would be able to tell. Leaving the two of you alone in the tavern, there are a couple of people that are asleep around. There's the one man who almost got splattered by the blood is still. There's actually drool.
Well, I am very tired now. I was already very tired, but now after all of this fanfare,
Go and sleep.
I will. Don't think too hard. And she'll go off and find her room.
Kalim will spend the next couple of hours waiting to see if either of the sleeping individuals awaken, and he will endeavor to make sure that they get home safely.
Okay. So the rest of the night will pass relatively quietly, other than people snoring, the occasional sounds of maybe somebody, in the night, these kinds of things that people do. And as the rest of the night transpires, the next day will come. The moon comes up in full earnest, and it is going to be the new moon aspect of the night, as we are eternally night here. And you all get your full benefits of resting and rejuvenate. You feel rejuvenated. You wake up and you are ready to face the day, ready to form a more figurative plan. Cade, how drunk did you get?
You know, it's so much adrenaline. I think he got pretty drunk, more drunk than he normally does.
Okay. I would like for you to please make a Constitution saving throw for me, if you would not mind.
Sure thing.
Oh, I didn't hear. I didn't hear your number. 8.
Number 8.
So, Cade, when you wake up, your head is pounding. It feels terrible. And when you wake up, you also notice that when you wake up, you're lying in bed, and as you start to come to, you realize you have something in your hand. And when you open your eyes, look over, you're holding that bloody sword.
Ah,
Not the handle. You're actually holding it by the scabbard.
yeah.
But at some point in the night, you must have gotten it and put it into bed with you because you're lying there on your side, almost like you're cradling it.
Okay. It's my emotional support cursed sword.
You are going to awaken, even though you get a full night's rest, you are going to have one level of exhaustion because you got that drunk. I'm sorry, you're hungover, sir.
Oh, man. This is worse than fighting vampires. God. All right. Is it to get up and is there a window to this room?
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. They gave you the nicest room, so your room does have a window. Yeah, it is right above the front entryway of the tavern. So if you open the window and you look out, you can see the wood nearby. You can see the area that you guys all took to go towards Tarash, which is the city that was right on the edge of the blood domain.
He will open up the window to get some fresh air and try not to vomit out the window in the front entrance. But no.
Okay.
It's okay. You're gonna be fine. You're a hero. You're a hero.
And as you look up, you see that there is a trail of smoke coming up, smoldering smoke coming up from a section of the wood nearby. It's like a fire was recently doused out there.
Like a campfire.
Sure.
All right. Looking out. Just looking out. What time of day is it? I guess by the stars.
This would be the equivalent of an hour time, basically like mid-morning time.
Okay.
But of course, it's dark still.
Right. All right. Well, I guess he will go ahead and put on his shirt and try to find his good old bestie. Go find his horse.
Absolutely. I think Isra, of course, would have already been awake at this time because she didn't get rip-roaring drunk, I assume. She maybe had a celebratory drink, or if that.
That would have been something.
Just one.
Just one. So I think that when Cade makes his way downstairs, you are already there in the room with Kalim and doing whatever it is you guys are doing in the morning. So what is Cade going to walk down into first thing?
Well, I think Isra will be partaking in normal person breakfast with Kalim just, being Kalim there.
Standing.
Not having woken up, doesn't need to eat that food.
He's polite.
But
he's
I
sitting
think...
at the table. Like, he's trying to be, cordial and all that.
Yeah. Fortunately, I think Isra has now grown accustomed to being the only person eating at a table, which is slightly awkward because it's like being watched the whole time. But yeah, when Cade comes down, I think Isra is fully dressed, ready to go. Backpack at her feet. Just sort of at this point, pushing around scraps of food on the plate with her fork, clearly waiting. You assume for yourself, and you'd be correct.
Yeah, so you saw how much Cade was drinking and celebrating, so it's not a surprise to you that he comes down at first dark and looks like he's a little bit worse for wear.
Clothes all disheveled, he put on his shirt and it's all just messed up and
one button out of sync.
Right, and he just comes up, doesn't say anything. He's still holding the blood sword. He's having it over his shoulder. He won't say anything. He'll just walk up. He sees you all sitting at the table, and he would just go, and he would come up behind Kalim, and he will kiss the back of his head because he's sitting down. And he'll walk past Isra, kiss the back of her head. Good morning. Good morning. Oh God. And just go sit down. Boom. Then he'd place the sword on the table. Boom. And he'd put his head in his hands.
I cannot say that I'm surprised. How are you feeling?
I've been stabbed. I've been kicked by horses. I've fallen off buildings. It's not as bad as this. Oh, man. Somebody put something in my drink. I think something put...
You poor thing.
My drinks.
here, drink this. And she'll take like tankard of water, just straight water, and slam it in front of you. You look very thirsty.
He will nurse it with both hands and just, it's the first water hitting his lips since probably entering the blood domain. So, for sure.
Kate, the things that they put in those drinks is what you wanted them to put in it.
Well, sometimes what we want is what sometimes isn't best for us. Isn't that true? Just keep looking at him.
Yes. This time, I hope you will take some of my advice. And Kalim is going to stand up, head to the back, and return a few moments later with a plate of bread and sausage for you.
Thank you. And he will take it, and as he takes one bite, he's like, just gonna slowly just kind of nurse the bread. Sausage just can't work. But
you could always feed the extra sausages to your, cursed sword.
What are you talking about?
Lim will reach out and snatch up the sword and hold it in the air. The blood sprayer.
Blood sprayer. That's got a good ring to it.
Kind of does, yeah.
I know. I like that.
He will use the sword as like a pointing implement and gesture towards the blood-stained walls.
That's paint. That's been there.
No, you did that last night with this blade.
Did I kill somebody?
Oh, no. Apparently you drew the blade and it shed blood from its edge. And the hilt of it tried to eat your hand and face.
Now I know I was drunk, but I didn't know you were capable of being drunk too.
I moved the hilt towards Kate's face.
I slept with the blade. I cuddled in his arms. It's safe.
Does anything happen to the hilt as it drifts towards Kate's face?
You do see that there is a small section of it where one of the tines of the basket hilt isn't fully wrapped. It almost looks like to you, Kalim, like maybe that section of the basket hilt worked its way out of the binding somehow. And as it moves towards Cade's face, you see the one tine that's partially out start to move and start to reach towards Cade as you hand it out to him. And as the three of you are all looking at this moment, even you, Kalim, wrapped up in seeing this, you barely hear David, who's kind of quiet as it is already, come in. There's here, and he puts something down on the table.
What is it?
It's a small little package, maybe half a foot wide. Looks like something wrapped up.
Where did you find this?
It was on the seat of the carriage when I went out to investigate, and well, it didn't sit well with me, everything that happened last night. And I went out and I was getting the horses ready, and I decided to investigate the carriage because, well, we took the carriage like we took the sword, and I just wanted to make sure nothing was wrong with it. And that was sitting where I would sit. It was sitting on the driver's seat. I didn't dare open it because I didn't know if it was going to spray blood all over me or try to grab my face or anything like that. So I left it for you.
Well, Cade, why don't you open it now?
I doubt it's going to be another blood sprayer, and he will take the sword.
Well, then we'll hand the sword back. Reach down, pick up the package, kind of test its weight in his hand.
It's very light.
Is it addressed to anybody?
Start unwrapping it.
Okay. It does have a paper outside. This one's like a tannish kind of color, a little bit thicker than the paper that the parchment was written on. You cut open the wax seal. There's no N on it. It still has that same pentagonal shape on it, though, you do notice. As you cut it and you break it, you start to take that paper off. Inside the paper is a small cloth, And the cloth is wrapped up, and as you begin to unwrap it, you start to notice that one layer has blood, another layer has more blood, until eventually you get to the interior contents of what's wrapped up inside this cloth. A single finger.
Fuck.
And Isra, you immediately recognize the polish on one of the fingers, a certain little paint that Flora always wore on her fingernails.
We need to go. Now.
Lim methodically wraps it back up, places it into his satchel, and wordlessly turns and starts walking towards the entrance.
Mr. follows immediately behind. Cade, let's go.
He'll take the sword, he'll get up, head towards the door. Grab the water.
David
To go,
follows
come.
last behind you as you all part out of the way. He looks back into the room one more time, just closes the door. You all go out, you all get onto the carriage. What is your point of business? What is it you wish to do right now?
Lim doesn't sit in the carriage. He summons Nocturne, manifesting in front of him out of the pure darkness, a horse made of shadow with glowing red eyes materializes in front of him. He just reaches out and places a hand on the crown of the horse's head, and wordlessly thanks him for his service, for hoisting himself up into the shadowy saddle that is there.
Kalim, do we need to drag David back to this place? Should we just take our horses?
David is already climbing up onto the driver's seat of the carriage. He overhears you and he looks back and he goes, "With all due respect, Lady Isra, I'm a father, and well, let's just say if anybody did that to one of my kids, I'd be pretty fighting mad, and I'm not very pleased right now." So he adjusts his hat. "I'm in this with you all."
Thank you, David.
Cade will nod his head at David very approvingly, and he will go to Luna and rest his forehead on Luna's forehead, and then get on the horse, look towards the horizon, to try to determine where we're going.
So you put your foot in the stirrup, and right as you're about to swing up onto the horse, you turn towards the horizon, and you see 5 individuals stepping up into the town, sauntering in like they own the place. You notice that they are good-looking people with long, dark hair, but however, they have a certain animalistic cut to their features. They don't entirely seem human. And you all inherently, instinctively realize vampires when they approach. The one in the front is a semi-androgynous man, and as he steps forward, he goes, "Well, did you like my package?" With a certain twinkle in his eye.
Kalim charges him.
All right.
And as Kalim charges him, the vampire smiles those long, wicked, serrated teeth, and he reaches for his hilt of his sword, and as he begins to draw it free, we're going to go to a break. Because why not, everybody? This is how we do. We're going to step back out of the narrative for a moment. We've had our players have a little bit of some heart-to-heart, and now we're going to see them have a little fighting spirit. So let's quickly take 5 minutes, though. Let's rejuvenate. Let's get some refills of our drinks. Use the bio breaks if we need to, but please come on back, and we're going to see some stuff go down here in the Eternal Night. So we'll see you in just a moment. Thank you so much. And we have returned. If you're just now joining us, welcome with the throwdown, because when we last left, our heroes were about to venture out to save a fellow adventurer in need when they were approached by these vampire youths who so very capably asked if they liked their package. Naughty, naughty. And with that, Kalim decided to storm the leader right away and burst in there. I'm going to go ahead and say, Kalim, just for now, go ahead and roll an initiative with me, because the vampire spawn noble guy here is aware that you're standing there. But let's see if you get the jump on him by charging his ass. So
13.
13.
But I'm going to actually use one of my abilities to add a d6 to that.
Oh my!
Heck yeah!
So 15 total.
15 total. Okay, hang on one second.
Yeah, as soon as you said all of that, by the way, Kev, I had these Utes
These youths.
pop into my head. Oh, we had
Alrighty.
everybody. So I've got the same color as the Game Master, and Cade and Isra
Oh,
have
that
the
is
same
cool.
color.
Yes.
I'm
White
gonna
purple, white purple. I love it. I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
switch mine up to a blue.
Here, I'll be. Oh, you're gonna switch to blue? Okay.
Yeah, you can keep
Otherwise,
the white
I'll
if you
be-
want.
Okay. I'll say, otherwise, I'll be red.
Cade's going for the lovely green.
Oh, lovely. Alrighty. So, as you charge in towards him, his sword comes out of his scabbard because he got a 17 on the die, plus 3, so dirty 20. Scabbard comes out of the. What were you attacking him with specifically? With a weapon or?
I mean, my sword is drawn because
Mhm.
it's the sword of warning, so it
Right.
immediately pops into my hand. So,
Okay. Yes. So as you close the
but I'm
distance,
not planning on just swinging the sword at him. Obviously, there's more
Sure,
to it
yeah.
than that. Yeah.
of course. So as you close the distance between the two of you, the sword magically appears in your hand, and as you bring it down, with lightning speed, his is ripped from the scabbard, and he draws it up, and he blocks it, holds you there for a second in that standoff that people do, and he goes, "You're not going to survive this, friend. We have come to reclaim her. She's one of ours now." And he pulls the sword back. It's your turn, though.
He doesn't attack?
Nope.
Okay. Well, in this opportunity round that it is, I will cast Spirit Shroud.
Oh no. I love this for you guys, not so much for them.
Okay, and I will choose Radiant, obviously, because,
Obviously.
that's what you're supposed to do.
Obviously.
And
my.
then I'm going to attack.
Excellent. So when you cast Spirit Shroud, what exactly does it look like? Shadows that emerge? and
Yeah,
start to-
so as this is kind of like the shadows had already started to kind of drift, as he's always surrounded in a little bit of shadow. His armor has shadows that kind of cling to it, then waft off like a dark fog and such. But this is like a manifestation of the shadow that was starting to happen as he charged in. But then as soon as the tool finishes his little spiel, all of that shadow just kind of manifests around him to where he's almost completely obscured by it for a moment, just as if he was this formless figure of shadow. And then as the incantation finishes, it kind of seeps into his skin and his body, almost like this dark net that is surrounding him and clinging to his very form.
Absolutely.
My attack is a 25 to hit.
Absolutely. Yeah, the blade cuts true and it slinks right down into this vampire noble's vicious looking smug face.
Okay. So let's see. That will be so close to max damage. So it's 7 points of slashing damage. It is 1 point of psychic damage and 11 points of radiant damage.
Oh my. Okay. 11 points of radiant damage. Alrighty. And as it cuts in, you see that his skin is semi-resistant to just the slashing of the weapon. It slithers along. It does cut into his face, bites down in through, and kind of pops out through the front of his chin. And his smile just grows in anticipation as he's just enjoying and relishing the fact that blood has been drawn. And as he smiles, the radiant damage leaves a trail and it kind of just explodes back. It's almost like the shadows lance off of your sword and slice up through his face, and he actually pulls back, not expecting that aspect of it. And when he looks back to you, that cut that you made is burnt around the edges, black charred skin. He didn't like that. He didn't like that one bit at all. And now that battle has properly been joined, let's please have Isra and Cade make initiative rolls as well. And we'll just factor you guys into the same thing.
That's a 9.
All right.
And I got a 22.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
There we're talking. So, Cade, as all of this springs forth, you get to react and spring into action. Now, with the 1 level exhaustion, if I am not mistaken, that's going to give you a disadvantage on ability checks. Let me check.
I do believe so. It's been a while since I've been exhausted.
It's been a while, too.
Yes,
said that.
the first level of exhaustion is disadvantage on ability checks.
Oh,
Awesome.
Great.
Way to go.
Doesn't include attack rolls or saving throws. But...
No,
Yeah.
So you're good. You're good
Now-
with that.
Yeah, that's fine. What are the chances that though the town has heard our story, that these vampires have heard a version of this story too?
I think it's very, very true to think that these vampires have definitely heard a version of the events that happened for sure.
Okay, because we're about to see how much of that is true and how much I could back up. So,
At this point, there's like 85 different versions of this story floating
true.
around the blood
That's
domain.
I think 70 of them were all told last night. So.
Right.
touche. All right, so what Cade will do, Cade's still on his horse.
He is. Yeah, you were
So-
still on the back of Luna. Yes.
Right, so what he will do is, I guess, damn it, I was going to talk, but I guess the time for talk is past. He will place his helm on, so it's got that dread demeanor. His face goes black and the glowing eyes behind the mask, kind of that dread visage. And he will, rile up his horse, kind of reel it up as he pulls out his moon blade, shining amongst the darkness, and let out a cry because we already know that combat's already begun. And
now
there's a
we're
horse
getting
here.
fancy. I see Luna.
I see what you're doing there.
Making her presence known.
Right. And he will cast Hunter's Mark on the on that main vampire there. The one with the extended smile, because he's kind of got
this
that
gentleman here. And gentleman, I'm sure, is a loose term, but
right.
that's that one. Yep.
I think the technical term for him is asshole.
You know what? Something was lost in the translation from Hijlaki.
Right,
You are correct.
yeah.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Gentleman,
we're gonna-
asshole, it's about the same.
we're gonna try to widen that smile even more. And
Why so
we'll,
serious? No.
we'll take the horsey.
Grab the horse,
And-
not you.
Yeah, you gotta click on the.
Grab the horse. Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Look at this technology. And
We are playing with Owlbear Rodeo, folks at home. They're not a sponsor or anything, but we just love it. So it's really cool.
fantastic.
It's a nice, simple VTT that you can just. I mean, we did all that in just a second. So awesome.
quite impressed.
I mean,
right.
it takes some prep for me to be able to do this.
This is true. Right. I mean, I had to load the map and the thing.
I have like 300 different variations of tokens and attachments and all kinds of stuff in my owlbear. So
Okay, so we didn't just do it. What I meant is we just added a horse on a fly.
it's very
'cause we didn't
easy to do, though. Once you have it
Yes.
set up to go, it
Absolutely.
is so good.
It's a very, very cool interface. But anyway,
If they want to
Cade,
sponsor us, I'm just putting
yeah,
it out
that's
there.
true. Yeah, well, we're happy to work with everybody and anybody. So come on, bring it on over.
All right, so what I will do is we'll move the horse, and casting Hunter's Mark was a bonus action, so
Yes,
I'm
it
going
was,
to go
yeah.
ahead and attack with my S word. And
S-word.
Also, shout out to the Dungeon Madams
Oh yeah.
for this
Yes.
very cool map.
Mm-hmm.
If you are interested in any of their stuff, they're on Patreon. And some of their stuff is free, too.
that was a natural 20.
Oh
snap.
what? Natural 20.
Say what?
Let's see, doing the damage. Let's see here, total. That was one-handed, critical. Boom, boom. Where did the
And
damage-
don't forget to double your dice for Hunter's Mark as well.
That's true. Yep. All the dice get doubled on a critical.
so let's see. So that was 11. I need to
So I
roll.
Critically as a rogue is very gross in 5th edition.
11 plus 16.
Ooh,
That is-
27.
Yeah.
Slashing.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, okay. All right, yeah, so as you move up on Luna, you blur through, the Hunter's Mark pulls down around him, and you slice through with the sword. It cuts across his chest, and again, you see him kind of split. There is blackish blood, ichor that drips down the front of him, and he still looks like he is very pleased. And as he sees all this happening, he just gets that wicked grin that has been made bigger by Kalim's blade, and he just looks and part of his chest starts to seal back up. What are you doing?
Can I roll an intelligence check? Undead is my favorite enemy, and I kill vampires all the time.
You do, yeah.
Kind of my
Does-
MO.
Does he heal even though he took radiant damage on the previous turn?
You know what? That is a great point. Let me check something real quick.
I mean, I know
No,
that's
no.
only some
You are
vampires
correct.
have that
You are-
weakness.
Nope, you are correct. That is
Okay,
right.
cool.
I'm glad you said that because I did overlook that.
It's okay. It's an easy thing to forget because not all of the various vampires and vampire spawn have that weakness to their regeneration. Some of them it just always works. But I
Well,
thought
especially too-
that might work. So
Yeah, well, especially too because we are dealing with the Hijlaki, which are a new type of vampire that are
Right.
explicit to La Notte Eterna, which have different kinds of resistances and stuff. This guy, however, does not get that benefit, so he is where he was. But anyway, so that doesn't seal up. What were you saying though, Cade?
I was going to roll an intelligence check to see.
Oh,
if
yeah, that's
I-
right.
And I will roll it at disadvantage because I'm hungover.
That's right.
Let's see. I roll intelligence. 11.
11. Specifically, you would know. I mean, what were you trying to figure out? I guess I'll put it that way.
Well, just kind of determining if I can tell this particular vampire's resistance.
I got you. This vampire doesn't look like he's any different than typical vampires that you have slain before in the past. Typical vampire spawns, you would know that they would have resistances to like basic types of damages and stuff.
Mhm.
But you did see the radiant damage that Kalim did just a second ago did hurt it quite a bit. You remember other vampires just like this that you guys fought before in the previous battles were almost obliterated by daylight and sunlight almost instantly. So you would know kind of a general idea about that, but nothing more specific. An 11 doesn't give you too much, but they're your favorite enemies, so I'll give you a little bonus on that.
Gotcha.
All right, so that's your turn?
Mhm.
All right, so instead of him sealing up, that didn't happen. Instead, he just gets that wicked grin again, and he is going to, with lightning speed, he is going to attack the horse in front of him. No, Luna, no. He is going to do both of his attacks.
He's gonna attack the horse? That's
He's going to
just
attack
low.
the horse. What a dick. Okay,
Adrian, don't you have the Crusader saddle or whatever for your horse?
I do. I was just
Oh,
looking
yeah,
it up
what is
it?
right
So-
now.
Yeah, that affects the attack on the
right.
horse.
It's the saddle. Gives you
I
advantage.
can't remember that my character has telepathy until an
Right.
hour in, but I can remember out of the blue that
The
you've still
saddle.
got
It
the
has a saddle,
Crusaders, man.
Well, no, the saddle I have, it's a military saddle. It keeps my seat active in battle, and it gives me advantage on any check to remain mounted. So,
Oh, okay.
So
if it
I thought
does
you might have
attack my
had the
horse-
magical one, which gives
no,
disadvantage on any attacks against your mount.
no, just keeps
That
me
is
on there.
unfortunate.
I swear, if you kill my horse, I'm coming for you.
All right, 2 attacks. As it attacks at Luna with his, you can see he also has a long sword. It's like a stylized looking long sword. You notice that the blade of it is a red metal. And as he is going to attack, the first attack against Luna is going to be a 17,
Ouch.
and the other attack is going to be a 24.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Luna is going to take 16 points of damage.
Just so you know, Kev, you're losing the chat right now. They are rebelling against you. Chat hates you for attacking a horse.
Oh,
attacking
snap.
a horse is like attacking a dog. He's like, you just don't do it.
That's true. Or attacking a kid. You know, I've crossed the
Right.
line. We're in R-rated territory now, gang. I'll have to rethink my tactics, I suppose. But anyway, yeah, so just 2 biting. He just slices with the longsword. You do notice that as he slices the second time, he cuts up through her flank a certain way that as her blood lances forward, he slices it and gulps it out of the air. What a gross bastard. Anyway, so
I'm
then
assuming the horse is dead now.
The horse blood.
I don't know. I don't think she's dead.
How
How
much?
many hit points does the horse have?
Oh, you don't know how many hit points you. Oh no, here we go. She's just a warhorse, right?
Right. This is gonna be like,
What have you done?
Why, when I typed in warhorse, did it bring up warhorse skeleton?
that's kind of
A
ominous.
warhorse is a large beast that has 19 hit points on
Okay.
average.
Oh, thank
If you'd like to
God.
roll 3d10 plus 3 and see if she has more than that, I'm fine with that. Or you could take the 19 because you might roll lower than 19.
I'll take the 19.
Okay. So yeah, she has 3 hit points left. As he slices into her with those 2 very vulgar strikes, and you do notice that as he does this, you notice this before, Cade, when you fought that vampire noble before, the one you claimed the rapier from. He's moving in a way that as his blade is flashing, it seems to almost be blurring as it's cutting through the air.
Gotcha.
And as he finishes that 1-2 strike, as he licks up the blood, the blade has a certain down it for a second. He reverses the grip and he stabs up at you on the back of the horse. 16.
That will miss.
Okay. And as he stabs with the longsword, you quickly deflect it with your sword out of the way. The 2 of you get locked in a moment, just for a second, like he and Kalim were for a minute. And he slowly looks up at you, some of Luna's blood dripping down the corner of his sliced open mouth. And he just gives you a wide, gross looking grin. You can see through part of his teeth, these elongated yellow teeth. And with that, the other vampires are going to spring into action because there's 4 other vampires here. So the female vampire who's over here is going to come in towards you as well, Cade. She's going to do a full attack, which is 2 attacks. Oh no, one's a natural 20 for a total of 26. And the other one is going to be a 15 plus a 21 to hit.
21 will hit.
Okay, so she's going to come in. The first attack is going to come in at you. That longsword is going to be, because it is a critical hit, it's going to be 14 points of damage. And the second attack is going to be 8. So there'll be 22 total.
Copy that.
And because she is hitting you, and because Luna's been struck, if you could make a dexterity check or a animal handling check to try to make sure you don't get dismounted from, because she's very strong, you notice the way when she slams into you.
Oh, with the I'll get it. I would get advantage because of the saddle, but I would get disadvantage because of the hangover. So should I just roll?
Straight roll.
That's it.
All right,
Straight bullet.
I'll do well. Animal handling or Dex is the same roll, so I'll just. Do I stay on?
Okay,
What
excellent.
did you roll?
14.
Okay.
Is that a yes or a no?
Perfect. Yeah, so you manage to not get dismounted. You do move in the saddle slightly, and you almost get, but you manage to hold on. Luna shifts under your weight. She's very trained for this kind of purpose. She shifts under your weight and makes it so you do not get dehorsed. The other ones that are behind, there is one who moves out and around the woman and comes in towards you, Isra, in the back. Oh no, they didn't forget about you, dear. Don't worry.
Bring it on.
Yes. He is going to attack. Oh my gosh. The first attack is a 13. The second attack is another natural 20. I never rolled this many nat 20s in combat. This is insane.
Hey, man.
Does a 13 hit you, though?
No, 13 does not.
Well, that's good at least. So, this gentleman, again, a loose term. I'm sorry, asshole, I think was how you said it was pronounced, Miko?
Yeah. Correct.
This asshole comes out around and comes in towards you, Isra. As he does so, you see him coming.
Asshole is the first guy. This guy's just douche.
Oh, again,
Yes.
that's my mistake. As he comes in, you're ready for it. So as he comes in, as he's pulling with the sword, he's got like a regular sword, doesn't have that red blade. As he swipes it towards you, you manage to move out of the way. But as you do, you see he feints and he turns and he drives it right into your side, and you feel it go in and kind of tilt up a little bit and cut into something inside of you, and you feel a burst of red hot fire go through you, almost as if something inside of you has been burst or cut inside. So the damage from the critical hit is going to be a 17 points of damage.
Sure.
Why not?
Sure.
And then there are these two other guys. They are both going to come in on you, Kalim. They both just get one attack each, though. So, one of them is going to have a 15. The other one is going to have an 8. So they both are going to come in and miss you.
They do indeed.
They both come in like an X. They come down towards, trying to assist one another. But you are just, with that blade that you had that you attacked the leader with, you dance it in amongst them and deflect both of their attacks. Kalim, you press the advantage and continue your assault. What do you do?
So when Isra calls out, I'm assuming cries out in pain from being attacked by douche, that is going to refocus his attention. He is no longer explicitly focused just on this first guy, enough that he sees everyone around, and he is going to invoke Dark Fear. Which is a special ability of my channel divinity that allows me to invoke fear in up to, in this case, 5 creatures that I can see, and they need to succeed on intelligence saving throws.
Oh, okay.
DC of 19.
Wow, that's a hard roll. Because only the leader has a bonus in intelligence. He has a 9, and the rest of them have way lower than that because they rolled a 2. So
they are all frightened.
Excellent.
And I can choose for them to use their reactions to flee in fear of me, and that provokes opportunity attacks. I'm going to choose to have everyone but the main guy flee. Like, basically, I have, in this moment, I have called upon the darkness, and I almost, at an almost screaming volume, yell out that the darkness is mine, and now you will reap its pain. And that causes this instantaneous fear in their minds. The other 4 flee away from us, provoking opportunity attacks. But Kalim locks eyes with the main guy and says, "And you will know it most."
Yes.
So I'm going to use my reaction to attack one of the ones that is fleeing next to me.
Of course.
And obviously Cade can choose to do what he wants, but I will go ahead and do that first if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
That is a 23 to hit.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
So that is 8 points of slashing damage, 8 points of psychic damage, and 8 points of radiant damage.
Oh, nice.
Jeez.
all
D8
around.
plus 3, straight D8, and 2D8 for my various damage rolls, and I got a
Heck
whole bunch of
yes.
8s.
Hey, that's how it goes. That'd be 24 points.
And my
okay.
turn's not done, by the way, after that.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, but
I'm
what all's happened? And they just move up to their speed, fleeing away from me.
Yes. That happens on your turn, you said?
Yeah, immediately.
Gotcha.
They have to use their reaction, assuming they have a reaction, and then flee.
Okay. So what happens is, as that begins, they all start moving away. Kalim, your sword slices through the thigh of the one nearest you, and he starts to hobble and limp and try to scramble away from you. He slips on part of the road as he's moving away. The one that's over by you, Cade, the female one, the one who was attacking you, she starts to get panicked and starts to back away as well. Do you wish to attack her?
Yes.
Alrighty.
Also, for what it's worth, Kevin, everyone but the guy that's attacking Isra, their speed is also reduced by 10 feet because they're within 10 feet of me.
Nice.
My spirit shroud.
Excellent.
Or just a normal attack?
It's an opportunity attack.
Oh, okay. I got a 25.
Okay, yeah. So as she starts to flee away, your sword comes down and strikes justice into her. What is the damage on that?
6 points.
6, okay. And that's going to be... Whoops, that's this one. Okay. And, you cut down into her shoulder, and she just kind of takes it. It's a glancing blow. I mean, she's a vampire. She's stronger than a mortal, and starts moving away. There is the guy who is in front of you, Isra. He starts to move and panic as well. Do you want to attack him? Or save your reaction?
Yes, but
else?
I rolled an 11.
Well,
Okay.
also technically you don't have a reaction right now because you've not acted in combat yet.
Well, that's true.
You don't actually get your first reaction until you
Gotcha.
you take your first action in a round of combat. So you wouldn't be able to attack him anyway.
Perfect.
But here's what I'm going to
Okay.
do. I'm going to say, go ahead and attack, though, because I feel like you have such a strong connection with Kalim that him being able to do this, you were kind of already ready for this guy. You kind of knew the score of what was going down. I think you would just be prepared, listening to the spirits and that
Fair
humming of Flora kind of still guiding you. So go ahead.
I mean, it's still an 11.
That's true. You know what? That's a great point. You know what, Kevin? That was kind of like rubbing salt on a wound. So I'm sorry, Beth.
It's fine.
That's not what I was trying to do.
Good.
I promise. Despite all of that, your attack is not successful, unfortunately. So they all begin to move away. So they all move back their distances. So this
20
guy's
feet.
Yep, she moved one too many, didn't she? Yep. And then these ones are going to go. They're basically all retreating the way they came.
Well, they have to retreat directly away from me.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the one that was attacking Isra can't actually go the direction he went because that would make him move
that's
closer
actually towards you. That's
closer
true.
to
Okay,
me,
sorry.
which he
He
can't
goes
do.
this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd go the 1, 2, 3, 4. He goes that way.
Yep.
Good point. All right, that looks a little more like what we're dealing with. Okay. Isra, you can take your normal turn now.
No, I'm not done.
Oh, no. You're not done. Oh, but wait.
Oh,
There's
yes.
I still have a bonus action.
Okay.
And I am going
Fucking
to
A.
cast Spiritual Weapon for that bonus action.
I love how you're like, I didn't say you could leave.
Nope. So I'll just use this
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
for a marker. Behind, as this main dude's eyes are kind of locked with mine and he's stuck in fear in this moment, under my breath, I kind of evoke some arcane words, and shadows kind of roll down my body and across the ground underneath of his feet, and then emerge behind him. This dark, shadowy, claymore-like blade appears behind him. Casting this at 5th level, by the way, and that's a 25 to hit.
Okay. Yeah, as it materializes, it slices up through his back.
That is 16 points of force damage.
Ooh, yeah, buddy.
Jeez Louise.
Miko, you came to play tonight, huh? Yes. And it slices up through his back, and you can see he stumbles for a second. He's laughing through the pain as you see that black ichor dripping down his back and pooling on the ground beneath him already. This guy's not looking very good, but he's a vampire. Are you sure?
I am done, yes.
You don't want to do like an action surge and do it all over again or something? Oh, wait.
I'm not Ian. I don't multi-class every character with fighter. Shout out to your boy Big. Love you, Ian.
Yeah. He just likes to gish a little bit. It's all good, you know?
Yeah, but he even did it with his wizard. His wizard has 2 levels of fighter.
You know. I love Eldritch Knights for that reason. So, alrighty. So now, Isra, please.
Yes. So, having been attacked and wounded and unable to react to that, and all of this is happening, Isra, in just a fit of pure anger and frustration, will let out a spectral, inhuman scream, and oh fuck no, I don't want to do that.
Oh man,
I lied. I just scream in general, just like a normal scream, not a special scream.
Is it like a Xena Warrior Princess scream, or is it?
Yes, awesome. It is. That's fucking incredible. Okay. So yes, I just scream just for funsies, and then I am going to split the difference between. Do I have like the ability with Kalim and Cade where they are to, like, you know, thread the needle and hit that guy with an attack, or is it too?
Oh, you hit the guy that's right in front of Kalim there.
You mean with like a ranged attack?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were trying to like move up between all of us with the horse there too. That's probably not gonna work.
No, try to hit with a range attack.
Oh,
you could
sorry, Isra.
Yeah.
I'm going to then just put my hands out and just blast, like, it's like the energy comes straight from my toes and all the way up out of my hands, to just like motes of smoke and moonlight shoot towards this mofo, and that's my Eldritch Blast. And I get 19 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do I roll?
Yep, you roll twice.
Yeah,
once
you roll
for each bolt.
Each bolt. Yep.
Cool. Okay. The second one is a 27 to hit.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Bam.
I love how 27 to hit is not a crit.
I know, right?
It was a 19.
I know. It's insane.
Oh
man. So that was, oh shit, what was that? That was 13 points of damage for the first, and 7 points of damage for the second. And I'm going to then use my movement to sort of come around here.
Now I will remind you,
just sort of get.
You can use your Vessel of Souls.
That's true.
On that.
Right. So, but can I? Because I thought that was just. It's not just melee attacks.
No, it's anything that has an attack roll. You can
any attack that you make, you can use the Vessels of Souls on. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get that bonus.
Awesome. Okay, then I'll definitely
damage.
Use that.
Yeah.
Let's throw that into the mix for another 7 damage.
Excellent.
On top of that. Thank you for the reminder.
And it's good that you had that, because as you step forward, Isra, there is those voices that you hear, whispers that are on the air. They kind of come over the humming. They drown them out. You are the strength in the boat. They come over and you hear them, and one of them specifically, to the left. And you step over to the left, and without thinking, your hands Elder's Blast streak out this dark red energy with shadows lanced through it, almost like fingers reaching. It goes out and around Kalim and slam into this guy, and then the tendrils latch onto him and drag him down onto the ground. And the noble, as he slams into the ground, you see part of his body get crushed under the weight of it, and then he goes lifeless and dead again on the ground. And because he's a vampire spawn, as opposed to an actual vampire, he does actually die. You don't need to like stake him and go kill him in a coffin somewhere. So he does get crushed and die right there on the ground. So yes, he is dead. And as this happens, right behind you is the tavern. You hear there's suddenly a commotion in the tavern. You hear someone go, "No! Oh, what are you doing? No!" Top of the round, Cade.
What?
Well, that was a little disturbing. And that was behind us, like this tavern, like.
Yes, the tavern that you guys are
Over
staying in is this building here, directly behind Isra.
Ah, okay.
You guys can. Well, actually, I guess it would be this one. I'm sorry, it's this one. The way we described it earlier, it is this one. You guys have just moved around, but you hear that still. Doesn't matter where you're positioned.
Okay.
All right. So it is my turn.
Mhm.
So we'll take Luna, and we will turn, and we will attack the female vampire.
Do you want to use a bonus action to move your hunter's mark?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if the hunter's mark just was relinquished once it died, or if I could move
You
it.
can bonus action move it without having to spend a spell slot.
Sweet. Yes.
Yeah, 'cause you're
Hunter's
still
mark it
concentrating
is.
on it, yeah.
Right. So we'll shift the hunter's mark to that one, and I will attack with my longsword. We are, and since we're going to be moving first, what we're going to do is, since I am still on my horse, and let me see here, where was I? Was I right here? Was I?
You
here?
were right here.
All right. So if I move 20 feet, I could attempt to trample with my war horse. And so
What is that going to be?
Luna's pissed. He's like, no. And so we're going to attempt to trample before as we attack.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So trampling charge. The horse moves at least 20 feet straight towards a creature and hits it with a hooves attack. The same turn. So I will roll for the horse. That's okay.
Yes, sir. So you get a +6. And the hooves.
Damage for the hooves.
Well, yet we couldn't hear you when you said your hit.
Sorry. I think whenever like the sound in D&D Beyond makes that sound effect, my mic goes off.
I was gonna wonder, because it seems to be whenever
I roll
it
dice,
cuts out when
it
you
has
say
a
the
sound
number.
effect, and I think it cuts up my sound for some reason. So I rolled a 20 to hit
Okay.
with the hooves.
Mm-hmm.
It takes 11 points of damage.
Okay.
Now there is a DC 14 strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
Alrighty. They roll that for her.
But just FYI, Adrian, if you go up into collections and my dice, and then
Yeah, you
click
can turn
on
that off.
settings, you can drag the sound effects volume down all the way to the left, and it should mute the sound entirely for your dice.
Oh, nice. Oh, there it is. Thank you.
Yes, we're also using D&D Beyond. And D&D Beyond, if you want to come sponsor, hey, I'm very glad to have you come over. But D&D Beyond is a great way to have your characters. All these characters are stored there, and they can see each other's dice rolls and kind of be interactive that way. I don't have the monsters and stuff on there because I believe in the whole, let's have a screen mentality. So anyway, as you go over there with Luna, she comes, and she just boom, boom, stomps and tramples down onto this vampire woman, driving her down onto the ground, just pummeling her hooves into her.
Now it does say that if they do not make the save, then Luna gets a bonus action to hit her with the hooves again.
A stomp.
That's true. Yeah. Go ahead. Roll again. With advantage because this is melee on a prone figure.
So I got a 19. Do I need to
Okay.
roll the advantage anyway?
If you want to see if you get a nat 20 and crit on her,
Okay, I'll do it.
but you might not. Who knows?
I'll try again. You never know.
I would love it if you did. That'd be amazing.
That would be really cool. Oops, that's traveling charge. Here we go. Come on, nat 20. No, I rolled a 19, so the bludgeoning damage was 13. 11 points of damage.
11 total. Okay, yeah, that's you know what? That's still great. You know, every little bit helps.
Yeah, and I haven't even attacked yet. That was just Luna's
That's true.
rage.
Yeah, that was just for your horse. So now, what do you wish to do, sir?
Now I am going to. It has Hunter's Mark. I'm going to attack it with my longsword, and especially since it's prone, I get advantage. Do I not?
Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming you're gonna get down off the back of Luna, so you can.
Yeah,
reach
I'm gonna let Luna just like, okay, you did good. You did good, girl. I'm just gonna like jump off, do like a backflip and like pull up. Well, sword's already out, and then gonna go for the kill.
I love it. Yeah. So as Luna pretty much tramples and runs over this woman, you roll backwards, and as you flip off the back, the sword comes down, leading the way down through the woman. What's the attack roll? Again, with advantage.
Roll is 18.
18, and you bring it down the sword right into the middle of her chest. Sorry,
Nice.
I hit my microphone. What's the damage on that?
Damage is 10 points of damage.
10 points of damage.
Is that including
And-
the Hunter's Mark?
That is not including the Hunter's Mark. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, Miko actually Dungeon Masters over on Wanderer's Haven. He runs a game every Wednesday of East Terra, his own
Can you
homebrew
tell?
world. It's an amazing game. I've been lucky enough to play in it. Beth plays in it on the regular. It's a really cool game, all homebrewed stuff with lots of cool lore. You should check it out over there.
That's 4 more points of damage, so that was 15 total, and I do get to attack again. So if it's not dead, I will.
Yeah, I love it.
Let's see. Second attack is the 22.
Mm-hmm. I had kind of a Yoda moment.
Pressing the wrong one. 22. Damage is 5 plus 10 points of damage.
Okay. And as you land on top of her, you bury the sword in her chest. You just pull up or down. Which way do you think you want to go?
Let's go down.
And you pull the sword in her sternum straight down to her belly button, and she just and part of her entrails pour out of the open wound like a flower blooming, and you see that she twitches a few times, and then that black ichor spreads out from her wound, and she locks gazes with you for a moment, and with a vicious smile, a grin, almost as if in victory, she perishes as well.
Cade's gleaming red eyes from the helm will look back and just laugh.
Oh, yes.
God, I was
Yeah,
wearing
buddy.
the helm. I was like,
I love it. Excellent. Alrighty, so half this group is disbanded. So now, the others are still frightened, so they are backing away, trying to get away from this crazy monster, this demon that they heard vanquished the Great Dark yesterday. Yeah, because it was just yesterday. They are backing away, trying to move, so they are continuing to be frightened. Do they get a save against that again, Miko, or is that for the
No, they're
whole-
just frightened until the end of my next turn.
Oh, I see. Okay. So they continue to move back then.
Yes.
Or
They have their full movement. This guy down close to me here at the bottom is still reduced by 10, but the others are full movement.
okay. So then they'll go like this. They continue to run away. Run away. Alrighty, and that's
you
all
know
they
what?
get to-
Technically, just because I feel like being an ass,
What a guy.
Nocturne, that guy would have provoked an opportunity attack from Nocturne.
Oh, is this Nocturne here?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
because he still has the stats of a horse, even though he is
I
a
love it.
summoned creature. So
Absolutely. Yeah, your
Why
spectral
not?
warhorse is going to go ahead and try to hoof this guy.
do it.
that's only a 16 to hit.
That's going to hit.
Nice.
I'm sorry, it's a 15, not a 16.
15 hits too.
Okay, there we go. That is
Everybody except the leader guy have an armor class of 15 for this
Oh, nice.
specific encounter. Yeah. So
that is 7 points of damage. Bludgeoning.
already, bludgeoning.
Bludgeoning.
Cool.
as he walks by, just one hoof comes out, cracks him in the back.
It's the horse equivalent of a bitch slap, is what they say.
Yes,
Like
very much.
Absolutely. And now, everybody, put your chairs in your reclining position because it's Kalim's turn again, so we've got a whole bunch of things to happen. So what do you want to do?
All right. First thing, my spiritual weapon is going to come over here and attack this guy. So we'll go ahead and do that first.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. That's a dirty 20 to hit.
Oh, yeah.
For 14 points of force damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't actually catch the other guy. So I'm just going to also run over here and...
Just charge
Oh, wait,
again?
actually, you know what? I don't need to catch that guy. I'm assuming Isra is going to take care of that guy. This guy that I can't see the guy that Nocturne just bitch slapped. So this guy that I can still see, I'm gonna drop a flame strike on him.
Oh, perfect. Love it.
Right? Is that what I'm gonna do?
Only you can tell us, my friend.
Yeah. We're just gonna drop a flame strike on top of him. He needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
I think he can make one of those.
And because of this dark fear...
1.
I was gonna say he has disadvantage, but you know.
Well, I'll roll again. No. Natural 1, a dexterity save for him is with a natural 1 is going to be a 7.
Okay, nice. So that is 14 points of fire damage.
Oh yeah.
And 18 points of radiant damage.
Oh man, oh man. That was just to make sure that was this guy over here.
Yes.
All right, just to make sure I'm keeping track of the right guys here. Yeah, so you bring the fire, the hellfire, the radiant fire down on this guy. Shadow and flame mixed together as it just pummels down into this guy, and he starts to, as he's trying to move, it starts to burn, and he actually slams himself up against where that stage would have been. Unfortunately, on the map, the stage is still here. That's this area here. Now there's just some planks and stuff where the wood's been kind of stacked up, and he hits up against the wood. Oh no, a guy getting hit with fire hitting up against wood. I'm gonna make a check real quick.
It is a 10-foot radius, so I think it probably caught the whole thing on fire.
You know what, it did, because apparently these guys can't roll very good at all. Those 2 nat 20s I got earlier, that was it. That's all I got. Because now this guy rolled a 3 on a dexterity save, which is a 9. So he notices that he's gonna hit the wood. He tries to roll out of the way. It doesn't hit. That entire conflagration of wood, the entire symbol of all the stuff that happened over the previous year, all these months of these young ladies being sacrificed to the high vampires in the blood domain, bursts into flame. There is a bright bonfire of fire that is just lighting up the place. This guy is going to take some additional fire damage as it basically explodes and buffets all over him. So he's going to take... Actually, I'll have you roll it, Miko. Roll a 3d6, please.
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah, why not? It's always fun that the players...
10.
10. I give it a 10. All right, he's going to take 10 more points of fire damage, and you see he falls to his knees and starts to drag himself, and he drops down onto the ground and actually starts basically doing a motion where he's rolling back and forth on the ground to try to put himself out. Anything else you're doing, Kalim?
No, that's it for my turn. Unfortunately, I don't know if I have an You're on Fire effect. This is why I'm just the okayest GM, guys.
That's true.
Oh,
That's true.
wait.
Oh,
No,
wait.
I'm sorry. I was wrong.
Oh, there we go.
It's like a...
Holy moly.
That is quite large and in charge.
It's like,
That's
is it
fun,
10
though.
feet?
I like it. I like it.
He's
All
on
right,
fire.
cool. He's on fire. That vamp is on fire. All right. So, at the end of your turn, they're no longer frightened. So,
Yes, that is
that
true.
guy's trying to put himself out. The other ones are trying to get their bearings. The
guy that's on
They're no
fire is
longer
probably
magically
still...
frightened.
I was just going to say, they're no longer magically
The
frightened.
dark fear is not
I'm frightened.
is not in them, but I mean, let's be honest.
Yes. And as our good friends at White Wolf Publishing taught us, vampires have an instinctive fear of fire. So they're all a little bit freaked out anyway because there's fire in the nearby area. But with that being said, they're all coming to their bearings about themselves. Isra, it is your turn. You continue to hear more sounds of destruction in the tavern behind you. But what do you wish to do about the battlefield in front of you?
Yeah, I just have to take care of this. Okay. Yeah, so this lovely vampire that Kalim left for me, I'm just gonna pew level out 2 Eldritch Blasts again. Sorry, I'm choking on air. I do not know what's happening.
You're choking on how amazing that entire thing was. You know, Miko put flame effects on the map. It's
impressive.
Just it's amazing.
First is a 22 to hit.
Okay, yeah, I like
Next
that.
Is
well, I'm sorry, who were you targeting? The guy getting attacked by the spiritual weapon, or?
No, the pointer. This guy.
Yeah, that guy's getting attacked by the spiritual weapon. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay. Yeah.
This little thing here is the spiritual weapon.
Oh, it's so cute.
It's so cute, so dainty.
So the first one will hit. The second one's only a 13.
Okay.
That's 5 points of damage for that, and I'll do another of my there it is. My Vessel of Souls ability for an additional 8 points. Thank goodness.
Okay.
And fuck. Since he's still standing, I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
I'll let it happen. And that is it for me.
So as you blast into that guy with the Eldritch Blast, one of them slams into him, kind of knocks him back. The Vessel of Souls just continues to bear down on him. You hear a spirit, another one. This one's it's more like a male voice. You should pay attention behind you. And then from within the tavern, you hear, "No, what are you doing? Do not do this, please. No, do not do this to me. No." You recognize the voice. It's Gregor.
Balls. Okay.
And then, you get a spirit point back from killing the vampire guy. Oh yeah. Don't forget about your spirit points.
Okay.
Spiritualist warlock. All right, that's it for everybody's turn.
Cheerleader camp thing. My spirit points.
All right, Cade.
It's time for some thrilling heroics.
You stand up off of the dead vampire. You pull your sword out, and there's like black ichor that drips down.
Is there a window to this tavern?
Do you lick the sword?
No, I do not lick that sword.
I just gotta be sure.
No.
You know what?
Just kidding.
There was a note in chat how we're gonna Buffy eyes this tonight, so I gotta make sure because that's part of the ritual. So,
is there a window to this tavern?
There is. There's the window to the room that you stayed in. It's kind of above the door. So based on the drawing here, that would be this little thing. Yeah, right here.
Oh, I thought I was standing next to the tavern. I'm not.
Yeah,
you know
which one's the tavern?
I've changed it 14 times. You know what? The tavern. Yeah, the tavern's this bad boy over here where you're standing. You know what? Everybody at home, it's what it is. This tavern over here, we'll say the window because you were using it to look out over the horizon. The window is like here. Here. It's like on this side.
Okay. And is the screaming coming from the tavern on my side of the road or on Isra's side of the road?
It's coming from Isra's side of the road. That's why she's hearing it more than you.
Got it. Okay.
It's really she's hearing it because I keep forgetting which building it is.
I was wondering if you...
Shh, don't tell.
Okay. Well, then I can't get to that one.
There's some guys in Italy right now going, "What is this guy doing, man?"
Come on.
You're starting to encroach on my territory as the OKSGM, Kevin.
It's I got to rise to get there, my friend.
You've got a speed of 40, right,
yes.
Adrian?
Yes.
Yeah, you can get all the way down to this other guy.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, I'm going to move. Is a bonus action move the Hunter's Mark?
I got it. I'll do it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so as you move, sword leading the way, that dark helm alighting, this sound of your breath as you run and pant as you move across the area, you see the energy of the Hunter's Mark like a spirit past your head and slam into this guy's chest right as you get to him.
Yes. All right. And as I get to him, just slowly, just like dragging my sword, still has the ichor on it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of, and I would just love it that as by the time that like that mark comes down, the vampire would like look at it right as my sword goes.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Roll to hit.
16.
Yes, your sword does in fact hit.
And that is 10 points plus 2 Hunter's Mark. That would be 14 points damage, and then I will roll my second attack. That will be a 20. That will be 16 points of damage for the second.
Amazing. Yeah, so you, as he does, yeah, the Hunter's Mark hits him, this energy slams into his chest, ripples out, starts to cover his body. He does look down. Right as he looks down, you punch your sword, whip it out, and then slice in his head. The entire, like, right above the eyebrows up, flies off into the night, and the rest of his body crumples in front of you. And the last bits of the Vessel of Souls that was still kind of lingering, just kind of, and as it passes through you, Cade, as it returns to Isra, you almost hear laughter on the air as you. It's almost like you see something physically as you kind of turn your head a little bit. You see it just kind of, and Isra just kind of like flexes, and it kind of goes back into her. Anything else on your turn, Cade? Or
Nope. I have moved and done 2 attacks.
Okay.
And a bonus action. I'm done.
So there is. Looks like one vampire remaining. He's over here trying to run away. He stops, no longer frightened. He looks back to see what's going on. He thinks to himself that there's maybe a secondary objective, and he is going to continue to run. So he disappears. Nobody's able to catch him. He disappears. I'm going to take him off the map. He runs off into the night, making his way back someplace else. However, Kalim, you start to hear the sound because you're super attentive. Even though you're a distance away, you start to hear there's the commotion inside. You hear Gregor's, "No, please do not. No, please, I beg of you, do not do this to me. No."
Okay.
It's your turn.
Oh, what about the guy on fire?
The guy on fire is burning. He didn't get himself out, so he's going to take, go and roll 5d6 fire damage. I'll let you roll it because you caught him on fire.
Well,
okay. Yeah, he's good. You know what? I'll have him try to roll to see if he does put himself out. Actually, you know, he does. He finishes rolling around. He takes that additional damage, and then he does manage to get himself on fire. So he kind of on the ground. He slowly is trying to lift himself up. Part of his clothes are burnt. His hair is gone. Part of his skin is burnt off. He just looks like a corpse, literally getting up off the ground. But he does have some fight left in him. So that might change what your tactics are.
No.
So
he's too far away for me to worry about, and I assume that Isra is going to be able to take care of him. Like,
what a gentleman! Just
momentarily, Isra hears in her head, "Daughter," and she sees Kalim just kind of gesture tilt his head towards that guy that's picking himself up. Would you say that there is, I mean, surely, at least in some direction, there is a bit of shadow being cast around this fountain?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Kalim is going to charge towards the fountain, and he's going to use his shadow walk ability, almost like he dives into the shadow of the fountain, and he's going to reappear inside of the tavern at whatever shadow that he knows that he can sense, because once he dives into the shadow, he can sense all of the other shadows in the area, and he just kind of appears. And that was just a bonus action. So what do I see in the tavern?
Absolutely. The tavern is not depicted on the map, obviously, but your location of where you come out would be. Where'd your figure go?
I moved it just inside of the edge of the tavern.
Oh, yes, there you are. See, because again, we're changing the building. I think we, by consensus, decided it's supposed to be over here. Is this what we decided?
Well, I thought it was closer to Isra.
I thought it was too.
Yeah, it
You
was.
know what, everybody at
It
home?
doesn't matter to me. I can get to either one.
You know,
So
everybody at home, it doesn't really matter because you know what? As you could tell, Kalim is
it's
OP.
communal storytelling.
I mean, he's awesome.
Yes.
So yeah, you know what? Maybe it's all one big building. Who knows? It's not depicted on the map anyway. But yes, Kalim, you merge into the shadows and step out of the shadows into the corner of the inside of the tavern. And when you do, you see Gregor is on his knees, and there is a figure that has approached him. Her long dark hair is no longer half braided. It hangs out loose about her. And right as you materialize, you see this young woman reach out and grab a hold of his throat and pull him up off the ground. And as she pulls him up off the ground, oh, go ahead.
I still have an action. I don't know if if I can do it or not. If it's story stuff, go right ahead.
No, I was just gonna say she pulls him up off the ground. She brings his face in close, and you can see there's just tears running down his face. And she goes, "I'm not your daughter anymore, Gregor."
Well,
And now you can do something if you wish. As you realize it is Natalia holding him up off the ground.
Okay. I'm going to cast a 4th level guiding bolt at her.
Alrighty.
Does she know I'm there?
I would say, let me do this. I'm assuming not. Roll a stealth check.
I mean,
assume that you're going to be just
he
amazing.
is the
at
knight.
this.
18 darkness.
18? Then actually, here's what happens instead. "I am no longer your daughter, Gregor," she says. And then her head slowly turns in your direction, and you can see her beautiful features are now marred by this really deep furrowed brow, like the bones underneath her skin have shifted and morphed. Her nose is longer. Her eyes are bestial, almost like cat's eyes, that slit of this like unnatural look. Her ears are even more elongated. Her tusks, of being a half orc, are even longer, vampiric. You can see the rest of her teeth are just long fangs, and she just slowly gets a smile on her face. So she knows you're there.
Okay.
But you can still do what you're doing.
That's only a 16 to hit. Hang on a second, though, before you tell me the result. Let me just
Sure.
double check. Yeah, it's only a 16 to hit.
Okay. So you were attacking with what? A regular
A
attack?
guiding bolt.
Guiding bolt. That's right. Okay. So the energy goes through, and as it does, she turns, and as she does, she whips Gregor in between the two of you, and the guiding bolt slams into his back, sizzles into him, and he just, and she just lets go of him, and he drops to the ground. You see her in full form now. You can see her clothes are partially ripped. This looks like it's self-inflicted, and she just grins at you, this big, large, toothy grin. Oh, good.
It was 18 points of damage to him.
Nice.
Oh, God.
Miko's like, "I want them eeps, baby." Just how you know, Miko's
I
been playing a
assumed I
while.
would have
'cause
to
he's like,
roll.
Eeps are eeps, you know?
Get those eeps.
Oh my goodness. All right, so
Wow.
Gregor, on the ground, you can hear him panting as his back looks all burnt and sizzled up. But yeah, she turns, the two of you lock eyes for a moment, and you see her just regard you for a second, her chest rising and lowering, not out of breathing, but out of just maybe she's just enjoying the moment, reveling in what's going on. And she looks at you and she says, "I was hoping that I would perhaps meet you directly, see if you are worth all the trouble, or if that little bitch will be enough for the ceremony. Come." And as she does this with her fingers, you see her fingernails are long, there's blood and gore just dripped down. And now you notice the rest of the room, everybody who had been left in this room, about 8 or 9 people, you can't tell because there are parts all over the room. She's just destroyed everybody who was left in here.
All right, then.
And so she just motions.
Kalim is stone-faced silent.
Oh, of course.
To
Yeah.
any attempts at like intimidation or anything. So.
Absolutely. So she is going to Enter into combat. I'm going to roll initiative for her, so she is going to go. Yep, she's going to go here. All right, so it doesn't actually change anything in combat order, but Clem, it's still going to be your turn. So, what do you wish to do?
No, I'm done. That was all. Okay. That was all of my actions.
Just making sure.
Yep.
So, Isra, you heard the yelling and you heard a sizzle of something go off inside, but you didn't see anything that went off. But you heard parts of it. It was kind of semi-muted through the walls.
Yeah. I jump right on in there.
Yeah. As you turn and you start running in, that humming of Flora that you've heard this entire time suddenly cuts off. You don't hear it any longer. And as you run through the threshold of the tavern, you see this scene that I just explained. Body parts everywhere. The walls are coated with blood. It almost looks like the blood flags are back up on the wall. There's so much gore. Parts of people's bodies are hanging from the ceiling like ornamentation. And you see Gregor on the ground. His back is to you, just a deep burn. You see all the skin on his back is charred and burnt. And he's just holding himself in a fetal position. And you see the girl that you guys risked all of this for, the girl that, as a fair trade, Flora had to stay behind in the blood domain to have her be released. You see her now, a vampire, and she does not look, well, she does look pleased, but not for reasons you would hope.
Well. Bang, bang.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, I mean, it's a tight space. I don't want to, unleash area effect hell. So I'm just gonna Eldritch Blast again. That's another 27 to hit.
Okay.
And then a natural 20 for a 28 to hit.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. All right.
Whew. Okay, so for the first one, that is... Oh, wait. Oh, it just did crit damage. But it did its own special thing. 9 points of damage and 14 points of damage.
Those are both force damage?
Yes. And then I'm gonna do my special little thing again and blast in a Vessel of Souls roll. And that's another 7 points of damage hitting her. And as Isra walks in, she sees what's going on. Flora's not there anymore. It doesn't take her long to recognize exactly what's happening. Mm-hmm. And you see her eyes are already black, but they become somehow darker, and around her eyes, it almost like her eyes widen, but it's like just they're large and they're dark and they're just voids. And she's she seems like outside of her own control a little bit.
All right. So I thought you had more to say. I was all right, tied up. So yeah, you wrapped up in the moment, and everything just starts to run into a blur. Cade, outside, you see them going. You see the guy across the way who's all burnt and charred. He just kind of stumbles and he falls back down again. It doesn't seem to move again.
All right. Cade will walk the path of Isra and walk towards the door of the tavern where all the screaming and whatnot is happening. Do I catch eyes with Natalia?
Yes, as you come in, she just, as she gets hit with the Eldritch Blasts, she just, every time there's no movement, she just seems to regard it. She doesn't like make a big, but she just kind of looks in your direction, just takes it all in, maybe repositions herself slightly, but it's still your turn to do something.
All right. In a very disappointed sigh, I realize that she has become a vampire, and will pull out the hand crossbow. I have crossbow expert, so I could really just And will, as a bonus action, cast Ensnaring Strike.
Ooh.
And we'll fire the hand crossbow with it. So let's see. (18)
To hit, yep.
And it will take 8 points of damage, and then the Ensnaring Strike comes into play. It should be a strength check. Boom, strength check, DC. Target must succeed on a strength saving throw. 15.
She gets a 22.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Rolled really high. Yeah, I do appreciate that you said it takes blah 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 damage. That was a nice, interesting twist. I'm not sure if you did that on purpose, Adrian, but I did like that. Because yeah, you can tell you're not looking at this young woman again, the woman who you woman who you risked everything for. This is clearly a beast, a monster, a creature. And after you finish your attack, in a blur of motion, she swifts forward, almost like she bends the air around her because she moves so quickly. She runs forward. She is going to basically surge straight forward. I would like to think the way you guys are all in the room, probably the person in the center of the room, I guess you could say, would be Kalim, because you were kind of already in there. So she comes in towards you first, Kalim.
Sure.
She's going sure, why not? She's going to attack you with a 19.
That hits.
Okay, so she comes forward with those claws, those vicious claws, elongated fingers, and you're all going to take 17 points of slashing damage
All right.
as she rakes down across your chest. And as that happens, she continues the movement and she spins almost like some sort of strange dance move. Her knee goes onto the ground. She turns in a complete circle and throws herself up off the ground, off of that knee, straight at you, Isra. 22 to hit.
That'll probably do it.
You're going to take, not as high as, you're going to take 12 points of damage.
Sure. And maybe.
Slashing as well. And then as she finishes hitting you, she's going to like jump up and kick off of you and fly backwards and spin through the air and land right on your chest, Cade, if she rolls properly here. Actually, that was cocked. Let me roll that again. That was actually lower than what the cocked roll would have been.
I succeeded at my concentration check, just FYI.
Perfect. 17, Cade.
That is my armor class, yes.
Okay. You're going to take 18.
Yeah. Okay.
And as she turns, she lands on you. I need you to please make a strength check. As she's basically trying to knock you down, much like the horse did to the other person outside.
And I still get disadvantage, correct?
Yeah, because it's an ability check. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's against her strength check of 18.
Oh, yeah, I got a 9.
Okay. And as she lands on you, she bears you down to the ground. Your head kind of smacks off the floor for a second, and she looms down over you. You can see there's blood just dripping out of, like saliva just dripping out from around her teeth as she slowly leans in. Your friend will taste so good when I am done with you. Kalim.
I want to do something, but actually, wait. First, you said that she basically ended up at the door of this place, right? Next to,
yes,
or
that's
on
where
top
Cade
of
is.
Cade.
Yeah, she's on top of Cade. He's basically like half straddled through the door.
Cool. Then that should be enough distance. I'll use my bonus action to summon the shadowy blade across the space, because I wouldn't have had enough distance to get it inside the room, but enough to get it to the door.
Yes,
so I'll go ahead and do that first. The spiritual weapon.
Spiritual weapon, yeah.
Flying over to defend Cade.
Love it.
Nice.
That is, that's only a 16 to hit.
A 16 is gonna just miss, unfortunately. The giant spectral claymore, and as it does, it kind of carves through the ground and slices up towards her. And as it comes, it's almost like she doesn't.
I'm assuming
see it,
she doesn't count as being prone.
No, not
because she's on top of Cade.
Right.
Okay.
And at that last second where it tips up to come at her, she just kind of does this and like closes her hand on it, and it dissipates for a second because she can't actually grab it because it's not real. But
Right.
it's enough to dislodge her from trying to do the attack. It literally just misses her.
Okay. And then I will go ahead and charge in to attack her. I was going to evoke Daylight, but I know that that's going to screw Isra, so I'll hold off on doing that for now, since I still have my Spirit Shroud. It's okay, I still have my Spirit Shroud, so. That's a 24 to hit.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. So that is 9 points of slashing, 7 points of psychic, and 8 points of radiant.
Okay.
So
your sword. Okay.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. So as you come forward, Cage still on top of you. Kalim's sword pokes through her chest and it stops just about an inch away from your face because of the angle that he's at, and then he wrenches it free as she pulls back off of you, letting go of you, and she just grits her teeth. She looks at you and she just licks some of that blood off of her lips, and she is about to start to stand to turn towards Kalim when Isra, it's your turn. Unless Kalim, you had more.
No, that's it.
Okay. Isra, it's your turn.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay.
I had the one time.
So,
one time. Come on, guys.
It was impressive.
One time is all it takes, man.
That's what she said.
Oh, boy.
Hey.
All right, so can you end this? Let's see.
I mean, I sure hope so. With the loss of Flora's music in her head, there's just a lot of quiet space, and she utilizes this like freedom to shoot out a psychic lance at this thing that once was a girl, and she'll need to make an intelligence saving throw.
Okay.
DC 16. Hope she's dumb.
What specific? You're casting a spell?
Yes, it's a psychic lance.
Okay. As you begin to cast it, because there's no more humming, there's no more of that song, there is those voices, those whispers, those that you always hear, the spirits that walk amongst you as you make your way through this land, the spirits that have been with you since it all happened. One of them, you need me. Please make a wisdom saving throw while she makes her intelligence saving throw.
Okay.
Her intelligence save is at 18. I'm sorry, no, 16.
Yep, she just made it.
Okay.
And I rolled a 21 on my save.
Whatever that voice is, you feel it try to push in and drive out your personality, but you stamp it back. So you're okay for now.
And she'll end up taking half damage. So that'll be half of 26 for a 13 damage total.
Isra, I would like for you to please explain to me how your psychic lance destroys this Hijlaki vampire spawn.
So the energy is almost imperceptible. It kind of looks like the that like distortion of air above fire. So you can kind of see it just like slithering on through. And as it strikes her directly in the head, you see like from the point where it hits, there's almost like it looks like a crack forms. Nothing actually physical happens, but it's just sort of like blackness that looks like it was truly pierced through. And her mind is just bombarded by all of these voices that I've heard over the course of all of this time, and it's too much. And her brain doesn't explode, but it feels like it does. And she just sort of crumples in just intense pain and falls to the ground.
Yes.
I mean,
And
falls
as-
on top of Cade.
Oh yeah, we're getting there. Don't worry. So
Whatever, man.
she's still.
Just kidding. Love you, Cade.
She's basically is still on top of Cade. She's basically straddled across top because she had driven him down. As she was kind of pulled back, you lance into her head, and as that split starts to happen, Cade, you hear this piercing scream. This scream is a scream that is beyond anything any of you have heard, except maybe for you, Kalim, because you've walked in dark places. And as she screams, this black ichor starts to drip out of her eyes, nose, her mouth, her ears start to rupture, and as her head is basically liquefied from within, this scream rents out through the tavern. It starts to peel part of the blood off the walls, and it's so piercing. She screams, arches her back and throws it back, and then collapses on top of Cade. Another time, another place, this might be really sensual, but this looks horrifying and disgusting that this woman drops down on top of him like this. And after a moment, after a pause, that scream finally stops as she dies. Cade, her head is like partially like leaking down. It's not on you or anything, but it's leaking down across the floor. And there's only one sound in the tavern, and that is of a whimpering father who has kind of rolled himself over to see what's happened here. And from where you're positioned, Kalim, you look over, you see Gregor still on the ground. He's actually rolled himself over, and he's reaching futilely at this point, reaching for his daughter, just tears streaming down his face. His anguish is probably going to be far from over, but this fight is over. So,
Kalim
in the aftermath, what do you wish to do?
Kalim will not expediently, but with measured purpose, approach where Natalia fell, scoop her form up into his arms, pulling her off of Cade, looking at Cade as he does so, trying to gauge. I mean, Cade's wearing his dread helm, so you can't really see Cade's eyes, but trying to look at Cade to make sure that he's okay in this moment, seeing his chest, breathing, and seeing that he's breathing and at least coherent and all of that, he will lift Natalia up. Did her features change at all, or is she still the feral looking?
In death, her features remain kind of unnatural, but there is a softness to them now. It almost looks like she is the young woman. It's kind of a middle ground between the young woman that you saved and this beast that you all just killed. It's a middle ground between the two, but it is more angelic in her nature of sleeping, for sure.
Okay, so then as Kalim starts walking towards Gregor, if you'll allow it, the shadows of Kalim's form will drift across Natalia and obscure some of the feral nature of her form, and almost like like a dark shroud across her form, like the shroud that you would wrap a deceased person in before you go to bury them. He will lay Natalia down in front of Gregor, and in Gregor's mind he will hear Kalim say, "Remember her for who she was, and let the darkness take her, but forever hold her in the light of your soul." And he just, as she's like half laying on the ground, he will place a hand on Gregor's shoulder.
Gregor crawls the rest of the way from to where you've positioned her. He crawls over and still just weeping, just this horrible, just anguish on his face. He goes over, he wraps his arms around her, and just this horrible sound that can only be made by a parent in a moment like this. He just weeps and holds his daughter in this moment. And the other two of you, as you look at Kalim standing down, looking at the two of them, as the sounds of the crying fill the night, the two of you were, well, they wouldn't have heard, so never mind. I don't say that. But we, as an audience, would have heard what Kalim said to Gregor, and we can only hope that remember her before you give her up to the darkness. Kind words are not kind words that we will have to have for Flora, who still remains in the blood domain proper. And it would seem that whatever price that you all paid, which was your friend being imprisoned by these things, one of which you just slayed, which was probably one of the weaker of their troop, might just be a sacrifice that might have been in vain. In this moment, you all look to one another, or perhaps don't, in the moment that you all have, sharing this moment with Gregor as he lies there on the ground, holding his daughter. And the rest of the night will pass. And so will our tale tonight. This is part 1 of 4 of Blood Rites, which is a sequel to the Blood Domain arc that we did play previously here on the channel. You can find that arc on YouTube, and it also will be coming back to Twitch next month when we do a cool rerun thing. We'll have a meeting about that in a couple weeks here. But like I said, this is part 1 of 4. This specific arc will be bi-weekly because we are actually doing a special new thing here on the channel. We're going to be having multiple arcs going on at this little end of year, a little special, little extra going on. So we have this arc that will be tonight. The next one will be on the, the 24th? Yes, the 24th, which, hey, that's Black Friday. So we're going to get crazy in Notte Eterna, baby.
Seems fitting that Notte Eterna would be on Black Friday.
You know what? It kind of does. And I love everything about that. There's also another
arc. Are we going to get discounted magic items?
Oh, well, you know what? Adrian just got to win tonight. It kind of did get a blood sword. I'm not sure what that was all about. Maybe there's something to that.
Oh God!
But yeah, so we have this one. It'll be in 2 weeks on the 24th. Another 2 weeks after that, we also have another arc that's starting up, the Tyrant's Grasp, which will be a really fun thing. There'll be another group of explorers in Notte Eterna, some of which might be familiar faces. A certain character is a familiar face, as it ties directly into our previous arc. Kind of like this is a sequel. It's a loose sequel, and also that arc ties in kind of all the stories together. Ooh, what does that mean? You have to watch to find out. That's coming up on the... Oh, Beth's all excited now. I see the little dancing. I love it. I know. But that is going to be coming up soon as well. That starts on the 26th. So we have this one on the 24th. 2 days later. Oh my gosh, you get 2 games in 1 week. Be Tyrant's Grasp. That'll be on the weekend on Sunday at 2 p.m. So it's going to be some different times, different days, and we'll be doing that. So thank you all for hanging out for this. This was a blast. I loved being with these characters and getting to see them again. And I can only promise that there will be lots more exciting vampire action because, hey, you know what? It's like Pringles, you know, we've popped, now we can't stop. So let's go ahead and let's have everybody go around the table, please, and just say who they are and where else you can find them if you do not recall from before, or if you're watching them all perform for the first time. Let's start with Adrian, who played Cade.
Yes, my name is Adrian. I am on the internet, known as Sly Sparrow. You can find me, actually, I do a lot of stuff, whether and all different types of channels. Just check me out on Twitter to find out what I'm doing next. I've been playing Cade, the Wandering Knight, the Crusader of the Dark, and as you can see, there is a lot of dark to go around. So I thank you all for kind of joining us on this journey, and looking forward to see what our next episode brings.
Well said, Adrian. Thank you so very much for that, and appreciate you being back. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with Cade, because he's got a few more tricks up his sleeve that I think are going to be really fun. And chat, I'm sorry that I attacked his horse. Yeah,
You
that's
get
all.
We'll
one.
remember this.
You get one.
I used it up, and I know we're playing a grimdark setting where really nasty things can happen, as we saw tonight at our ending. But you know what? I don't know if I can make it that dark that I'm killing animals. I mean, I'm not the never-ending story.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be like an RTAC situation
you know what?
here.
I promise you this. I will not do something like that because I wouldn't be able to roleplay that. But anyway, let's cut over to Beth. Beth, hello, returning as Isra. Thank you so very much for playing our favorite Karevi spiritualist warlock.
Was that segue just like a, speaking of crying in TTRPGs, let's go to Beth.
No.
Your reputation is starting to...
It's fine. Guys, I'm just into it, okay? This has been really great. It feels really good to jump back in to playing Isra and to playing with these other players and characters. Yeah, I'm just super stoked about it. So excited to see what comes next. You can find me on the internets at Beth Masco. You can find me playing in Miko's Fantastic World of Ystera on Wednesdays. We might have a finale coming up. I don't know. He'll probably have to talk to you about it.
Mm-hmm.
But lots of good stuff. Check out my socials to see what's coming up.
Yeah, Beth's in a lot of stuff.
Kev.
She's an awesome player. And thank you, Beth, as well. I appreciate you so much. Miko, producer extraordinaire, playing Kalim. Please tell us where we can find you at, sir.
I'm around. You can find me on most of the socials at the_case_GM, or take out the underscores for places that are silly and don't allow underscores. And if you want to see me doing more gaming stuff, as was hinted at already, you can find me over at Wanderer's Haven. We are indeed wrapping up our current arc of the Ystera campaign, the Chaos series, as it were. The finale for that will be next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then after that, we have a couple of more two shots planned that will take us through to the rest of the year. But yeah, check out socials. You can follow WH Pubs. That's the Wanderer's Haven Twitter. Thank you, Jeremy, for keeping up on all of that kind of awesome stuff. And yeah, that's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Miko. Yeah, Miko produces the show, and I made the cool overlay and did all the cool pictures changing and stuff. So if you liked all that, hey, let him know. I have been Kevin. Well, I guess I'm always Kevin, but I'm Kevin. I have been your humble game master, dungeon master, whichever you wish to call it, night master. I'm going to try to get that to stick. But yes, this has been Notte Eterna, episode 1 of Blood Rites, and we will be back in 2 weeks. You can find me on the socials at KevRan Games. I also do stuff with Wanderer's Haven, as well as being the U.S. ambassador here and run this game. So this is a lot of fun. Appreciate everybody being here. Please join us in 2 weeks, and we'll tell some more fun stuff. And we will have, at least, we'll see if you get reunited with her, but we will have a certain player spot on the bottom row next to Miko will be occupied by an actual player as Deb returns as Flora. Oh, was that a spoiler? I don't know. Well, we'll see. Thank you all so very much. I want to take a moment to go ahead and raid our good friend Bleak Season. Bleak is the man. Woo! Awesome game master. I played with him a few times in both player and game master.
He's been on this channel a few times.
And he's been on, I was going to say, and he's been on the channel in several arcs. He is amazing. Please stick around and hang out and watch him because he rocks. But yeah, this has been great. Thank you all so very much. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And until next time, may the moon smile upon you. Good night.